All right. So there we go. We already have quite a few people joining us. And we also have our trusty Dusty cigars. I got a little bit of actually, this is the first. This is a huge first. So, guys, I'm Joshua A. Farmer. Thank you very much for joining us on this live stream. This is episode 50. Episode 50. That's fucking cool. And you guys already knew this was coming, so we're going to celebrate. I'm celebrating the old-fashioned way, which is the way I always do. And I got my soda. I got my cigar. I got some company. I got some good friends. Amazing people here today. We got a guest I'm going to introduce here in a second. We got some camera switching available, too, once necessary, that we'll be able to introduce people behind the scenes. This is all brand new, so I know you guys are going to fucking love it. So episode 50 of the Q&A, you guys ask questions, I answer it. And anyway, so if you guys have anything in the comments as well, you guys can answer there. So we're going to keep it as usual. And since we have a guest in a minute, I'll be introducing him. And you guys can ask us whatever you want. You can ask us. By the way, I already asked our guest ahead of time if he was willing to say anything about his tattoo work and his artistry, and he said there's no secrets, so you can ask whatever you want. Before I do anything, you guys, I will say this as well. Thank you so much for joining us. 50 episodes, it's not like a huge number, but it's been over a year, and I've only missed 2. One I was sick, and one was for my daughter's program. So thank you guys for being loyal. Get in the comments. Don't be shy. Let's do this. You might get the Linda voice today. We'll see. If not, then either way, we're going to keep it spicy in the comment section. So episode 50, thanks for joining us. First, I'm going to actually introduce behind the scenes. I'm going to show you guys what's up. So this is our camera operator, and we got Samurai with us.
Hola.
Hi.
This is kind of exciting because Samurai, they haven't seen you in a long time.
Hi, guys.
She's popped in on the lives, but now she's like legitimately here.
I'm here.
She's here, and she has her own mic.
Yeah. Woo.
This is like brand fucking new.
This is lit.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I can promise, guys, if you're watching this, I can promise you in the comments, we're not going to be able to get to everybody. So in this episode, I hope to get into a deep conversation with our guest. And I will say, our guest is an incredible artist. I'm actually super pumped. I've had quite a few really good artists on the show before, and I respect, everybody's work. And the people that I have on are always interesting, respectful, good people. And I was really excited to meet our guest and to have him live and share with you guys, his artistry. So this is somebody I personally, I directly look up to. When I see his work, I literally look at it and I'm like, that for me as an individual, not just an artist or, a tattooer, just as an individual, that's the kind of work that I fucking dig. So that shit makes me fucking happy. So anyway, our guest is Robert Miranda. So thank you for joining us. Thanks for being on here. I think this is his first time. I'm going to put him around the spot and get it out of the way. I think this is his first time being on a live stream. And it's always exciting, but we're going to get right into a conversation, and I'm going to do a little, I'll let you do a little introduction. So you own a tattoo shop here in Fresno.
Yeah, I own Black Ink.
Yeah. And that's here in Fresno, and you've been tattooing your whole life, I'm assuming. I mean, I would assume looking at your work, you've been tattooing for a long fucking time.
Since I was 17, it's about 24 years.
Yeah, there you go. That's cool. I was 15, so I guess I was a little bit younger. I lost my virginity a little earlier than you. Right. So 17 years old, how did that happen for you? Like, what was that? Somebody handed you a machine, said, hey, try this, or what was that like?
I was a airbrush artist first. I liked airbrushing.
Okay.
No one wanted to buy a $20, $30 shirt, so I made a tattoo machine, just like a jailhouse tattoo machine.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted a $20, $30 tattoo.
Yeah, that's true. That's
so
real.
I just did that.
That's cool.
Yeah. I never took it serious, though, until later in life.
Yeah. Would you say that, because people ask me all the time, like, why'd you get into tattooing? And I like to give them like a pretty simple answer to satisfy, but I think the truth is really, for me, that it has something to do with the fact that the industry started getting insane. Like, it just all of a sudden, everybody wants tattoos.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you could just get a machine, and I hate to say, but even still kind of very true today, you can just start making some money, right?
Yeah.
Kids don't get any bad habits out there. Do it right, learn from good people, and be safe and be smart. But what's interesting is I think the reason I'm a tattoo artist is because that's, as a creative person, as an artist, that's just what was popular at the time, but also available to make money. If it was airbrushing, maybe I'd have done that.
It was just trying to make a hustle out of my art. I just loved art, so I just try to find something where I can make some money as a little kid.
Yep.
That's what it was.
Okay. Now, how did you learn, though? I mean, is that like, how would you say you went about it? Because for me, it was just trial and fucking error. Like, nobody was really helping.
Oh, yeah. My first tattoo was on me.
Yeah.
My second one was on my brother. My third one was on me.
Yeah.
Just trial and error.
Okay.
I knew a little bit because I had uncles and people I knew that knew about tattoos, like jailhouse tattoos
Yeah.
and shit. So that's where I kind of like got all my little bit of knowledge.
Right. Okay. That's funny because when I was 15, 16, when I got the opportunity to tattoo, I've said the story multiple times on here, so people have heard it. But essentially, I asked my dad, who had prison house, jailhouse tattoos, and he gave them to himself. So I said, "How?
Yeah.
Like, how did you do that?" And I'm an artist at the time. Like, I drew all the time.
Everybody in jail does them.
Yeah.
They think they can. They see the next man doing it. And I was like, I can do it too.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, some of them motherfuckers is bad in
Yeah.
there.
Right. Well, like even he's confessed a few times that Sumi's been on the show, and he told me the same thing. He's like, "Yeah, dude, I started painting, started tattooing, and making money, and all of a sudden it became a thing." But yeah, that learning the art in there, I mean, that's, I guess, what you do, like to a high level.
Yeah.
When I first asked somebody, how do I become a tattoo artist? I was 16, walked into my first shop, which is really cool now because it happens to me now. People walk in my shop. And of course, times have changed. So the people are a little different in a way, but it's still the same, that they're curious, they're interested, they don't know where to go, they don't know what to ask. And so they're shy, they're nervous, they're scared. Or sometimes they're just, some of them they come in like firecrackers and whirlwinds. But anyway, Samurai. So what's funny is I walked into a shop and I said, "How do I learn? Like, how do I do this? I don't know what to do. I have no idea how to go about this." And the guy laughed at me and said, "Move to California," because I lived in Oregon.
Oh, shit.
And it's like really strict there. Yeah. Like you have to be they do literal white glove tests.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know if it's still the case, I would assume. But what's funny is he said, "Move to California," and the other guy in the back, who eventually became a really well-known artist, incredible tattooer, and at the time I didn't even know who these guys were. And he said, "Or go to prison." I'm like, "Well, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So let's try California. If it doesn't work, I'll probably end up in prison." So anyway, I got to learn a different way, but I just thought it was funny because nobody wanted to show me how to build a machine.
Yeah.
They were like,
it's pretty much see it, mimic it.
Right.
That's all my art, really. I see it. I'm going to try
Really?
to mimic it, try to make it happen. Then I bundle it all together and
Okay.
do me.
You know what's, it's interesting you say that because my biggest question, like when I look at your work, and I've been looking at your work for years, a long time, and when I see it, and I've seen it evolve, especially I'd say in the last few years, I think you have some techniques that we'll get into maybe in a little bit that have changed.
Yeah.
But I saw your work. I think this girl worked at a restaurant I walked into, and I knew it was yours the second I saw it. I think that's really exciting when you can see somebody's work and go, I know who that
Like
is.
a picture of me.
Yeah, it looks like you. Like you end up identifying with your art, right? And I saw it and was like, yeah, I know who that is.
There's a lot of people who don't know me or nothing, but
Yep.
they know my art. They're like, oh, I know who did that.
And she was super excited. She was so proud of it too. She was like really pumped about it, and seeing, being able to experience that with artists is really fun, because I assume that probably happens with my work too. I hope. I hope. Samurai, have you ever experienced that with your art? Like you see somebody, they maybe have something you made or something you've drawn, and they're like, they love it, or they hang it up or something. You're like, oh shit, they cared about it.
Yeah.
There's-
Yeah, mostly like the gifts that I give, like paintings that I've done, it's mostly to my family, but
Yeah.
yeah.
But it's still the same. It's still
Yeah.
respect. It's still really cool. I love that stuff. So I've always looked at your work, like I said, Robert, and I thought like this dude knows shit like that I don't know. And I mean this like technically speaking. So my question, if I ever had one, really that popped up regularly, was like did he learn? Like who taught him? What did he learn? What does he study? What does he look at? What is his method to the madness? And obviously you don't have to give us everything, but I just wonder, like, what would your answer be if I said, like, how do you pull that shit off? Like it's incredible art, like genuinely speaking, not just as a tattooer, but in general, the art is really great.
I think I got a problem of like, it has to be perfect. So
Okay.
I'm always telling myself,
It's a good problem to have.
that's not right. That's not right. I'll take a picture and I'll study the picture and I'll pick it apart.
Right.
Everybody will think it's amazing. But I'm not sitting there tearing it apart. How can I make it better? But then we go into tattooing. Now it's a business too. So as an artist, I slow down. I can't do full potential on skin as on whatever medium I try to use. So as a tattooer, I try to make it efficient, but still get a product that I'm happy with.
Okay.
That still is artistic and not a tattoo, because I really don't consider myself a tattooer. I'm an artist.
Right.
I just choose skin. So that's how I look at it. I'm not trying to tattoo. I'm trying to produce art on skin.
That's legitimate.
Yeah. So just live canvas.
I dig that. I like that you say that, because I feel the same way that like people, being called a tattooer, like actually, even when I introduced you today, I've never introduced somebody on the show in the title as a tattoo artist. And I thought it really didn't feel like it fit. I did it anyway because I was in a hurry and I just posted it. But I was thinking like the same thing, that it really doesn't feel like I just happen to tattoo because that's, really, it's popular, it's available, it's an opportunity for me to do what I love, give somebody something they love.
That's just the direction it took me.
Yeah.
I was making money. I got good at it. I just kept going. I could have been something else, I'm sure, as an art wise, but this is what the path that just kept following.
Yeah.
I'm good at it. People enjoyed it. I make good money.
Okay.
Good money now.
Yeah.
Especially now how the industry changed. I remember back in the day, it was hard to get somebody to spend some money on you.
Real money.
Yeah, real money. Right. Yeah. And then you didn't want to put out good art because you're like, man, I'm doing all this work and I don't get nothing for it.
Yeah.
But I did a lot of it. Good art and get nothing for it. But now I reap the benefits. Now everybody's appreciating me, and then they see my art even growing. I'm assuming they do. I'm hoping they do, because I tried to be better than last year or even the last tattoo. It's like I tear it apart. I'm like, oh, I can do it. Everybody walks out thinking their tattoo's bad, but I found something that I didn't like about that.
Right.
I'm tearing it apart, but to somebody else, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Me, nah, we can make it better. Watch.
And I think what you're describing right now is a necessity. That if you don't have the process you're describing right now is not being fully satisfied, knowing you can make it better. Everybody else fucking loves it because it's beyond what they can imagine, right? Like I love when people say, "Man, you made it. You took my idea and you just exactly made it how I thought of it." I'm like, "No, I didn't. I made it how I thought." Yeah,
it looks good to you.
Yeah, you like it. You like it. But what's interesting that you're saying that is, because that was my question, is like, what wizardry does this guy know? Like, what is the deal? Because I know exceptional artists. I work with a lot of them. Actually, every artist I work with in their own right has a talent that blows me away. Even if they're brand new, they just walked in the door. There's something about these people that just blows me away.
Now there's no rules. There's no rules to it. Back in the day, it was about you had to tattoo like this, you had to do this, you had to do that. Now there's so many rules, so much information out there. You can pick and choose a lane.
Yeah.
Do what you want now. It's not even how you apply the tattoo. These machines make it so easy to apply the tattoo. It's almost as just drawing on a piece of paper. You just got to understand your tool now.
Yeah.
Because it's like not everybody can use a jackhammer, but everybody can use a hammer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a little different.
Once you learn it, then you chipping away the cement a little bit different than as of just hitting it with a hammer.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, you got to really finesse it, I think, because it does come down to, like, even when I'm teaching an apprentice, I love having apprentices. I think it's a little unique to most of the people I know that tattoo, because they don't. They like the idea and they would love to be able to, but I think there's something about an artistic person that's like it's difficult for them to have that. But it sounds to me like you've had other people too that you work with that are in your shop now currently that I don't know if they apprenticed from you or by you, but still learn from you though.
Yeah.
It's still a learning. Even if you're great, even if you're new.
Yeah, we're always learning from each other. That's what I like the most about my guys is I didn't teach none of them. They all self-taught, but I always followed them, knew them before they were even in my shop too. I saw something like potential of what they can be.
Yeah.
So I just like, come here.
Yeah.
And then you put yourself around a lot of people who's thinking like you, and then we're all creating and we're all making ourselves better, really, because he sits in the chair next to me and these little kids over here are doing some good shit. And I'm like, man, I need to keep my game up because they're gonna pass me up.
That's real too.
Yeah.
That's real.
So I'm trying to keep up, and I gotta be on top. If I'm not on top, I'm losing. They ain't got nothing to look up to now.
Yeah.
So it's like, fuck.
So you think it's a bit of a leadership thing that like really lights that fire?
Well, yeah. And it's not that I wanted it to be. It's just I'm assuming a lot of people think, because when I get around other artists, that's what they want to talk about, my tattooing.
Yeah.
It's cool, but let's, I don't know, time and place, you can say. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's rough.
Lost my track.
Well, you were talking about like the artist learning from you and you being kind of that mentor to him, really.
Mentor. Yeah. I know. I've seen a couple kids. Like, there's one in my shop right now. He just took it, the 3-round liner thing, how I do, and he just took it. And he's doing these tattoos fast, and he's sitting right next to me. I'm like, damn, he's pulling that shit off fast. I want to be that fast too.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to be fast too, but I'm still trying to accomplish what I want to accomplish. But I'm trying to be as fast as him. So I'm still always trying to keep up with them, always learning. Every time I come around other artists, me and you, we've actually met a long time ago.
Yeah.
But every time I come around artists, I always like to talk, pick brains, watch them, see what they're doing. I learned a lot by doing tattoo conventions, running into a lot of other artists, and really just watch and observe.
Yeah.
I'm not a big question guy, but I'll sit there and watch and observe, and I'm not a dummy, so it's like, monkey see, monkey do.
I actually think, and I'm really glad you say your response to my question, which is like, how did you figure this shit out? Like, what kind of wizardry do you know? I was like really scared this guy was going to be like, it just comes to me. Because it is like, I look at your work and I think there's no way, like there's got to be methods to the madness. And it sounds to me like you're just really open to new information.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm always trying to perfect, like trying to make it better. I knew that line wasn't good, but it looks good. And then when it comes back, I'm like, nah, it wasn't good. Make that line better. Make that line. What can I do better? I'm trying new machine. I'm trying a new needle. I'm trying a new ink. They all play in the big factor of what it's going to come out to look like.
Yeah. There's a lot of variables.
I always try something new, and I'm always back and forth. Like, that one pulled a good line. That one did a good shade. But damn, I don't know which one I like the most. I fight with my machines every day. Which one am I going to use? Which one am I going to use?
Yeah.
But it's just always trying to be like, how can I make it better for me? Like, I'm anal about my area being messy. If the fucking needle is dripping the ink off,
spitting it or something.
Yeah, I'm frustrated. I'm like, so it's just, I guess it's just a problem in me that I got everything got to be on hit. And if it's not, I'm not doing it right.
Yeah. So obviously a bit of a perfectionist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very much so. Yeah.
And you think most people would probably admit that too, that know you well and that have worked with you or got work by you?
Yeah. I've read that because a lot of people are like, it's done. It looks good. No, it's not done.
A little bit more.
Yeah, come back. Let me do it.
I got to ask, Samurai, does that sound familiar?
I was just about to ask. So, how long did it take for that quality of like your art to be perfect come into play with your tattooing?
Oh, it's still not perfect, but I'm really happy what I do now than I've ever done.
Like, did it take you a couple months to pick it up?
No, I would say every year I try to be better than the next. So I learned something one year, and now instead of learning it, I'm applying it and trying something new also while I'm applying it. So then it just a domino effect.
Yeah.
What I've learned and what I've applied, now I'm applying and learning at the same time. So I'm always continuing trying to grow.
It's like stacking.
Yeah, that's all. I keep looking at it as, and I still feel like I can get better because I look at art all the time. I look, and it's not just tattoos, and I'm like, you can do that in a tattoo.
Right.
You can do that in a tattoo because a lot of people talk about doing high detail and all that over time is going to fade away and whatnot. But right now,
I don't know.
But right now, it looks really good.
Yeah. And you know what? That conversation is like a pretty common one in tattooing, right? There's always a few things that get brought up. How much was it? Did it hurt? Who did it? Like all these questions people ask. And then also, what's it going to look like later? But honestly, I've done work 10, 15 plus years ago, color and black and gray, and it isn't what it used to be, right? Like 1990 to 95 or something.
I also have a theory over the 3-round liner. That's why I choose to do it. We think of it as dots. We're injecting this dot, and over time, this dot is going to spread. So over time, the dots get closer together. So eventually, it's going to get smoother.
Right.
And look, you're going to get the pixelation a little gone, fade. All of them going to fade. It's the skin over the ink. But the detail will stay because it's still there while they're spread out. But as they bleed kind of together, it'll take longer for them to bleed together.
Yeah. So
just theories of mine.
But you're right about that. That's 100% true. And what's interesting is like my question would be, how do you figure that out? Because nobody's like writing this down for you to know.
Like I said, I nerd out on shit. I don't know. I know things that I shouldn't even know. I'm like, why do I know this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
but recently I just learned that we're not injecting ink into the skin.
Right.
Did you know that?
So we're putting well, I know it's not ink, but
No.
tell
So,
me
okay.
more.
So we think of as the needle goes in and injects this, that puts the ink in the skin.
Okay.
No, what it's doing is making a hole, creating a vacuum as it sucks out, and the ink gets sucked into the skin.
Right. Okay.
So if I'm doing a bunch of those and I'm plotting these dots, so that's why I think of it as tattooing.
Okay.
So I'm just plotting these holes. No matter what, that hole's saturated. And that's why you look at very high porous skin. It doesn't really look too great because it does mesh. The colors don't hold.
Kind of falls apart.
Yeah,
a
it's
little
not
bit.
sharp, real crisp and clean
Mm-hmm.
on high pore skin. You can see it without even tattooing on somebody that their skin's high, got real big pores.
Yeah. Especially certain parts of the body.
Yeah, especially around
The neck, the spine.
yeah, right here.
Yeah, you start to see it, and they're like, I can't do, like, I hate doing certain things
Uh-huh.
on certain parts of the body because, like, now I just tell people, give me your extremities. That's it. I don't really want to deal with your rib cages too much. Mikey's sitting here. He's actually next to us. You can throw a hand in there if you want. Yeah, there he goes. So Mikey's pretty covered with. Actually, I've been covering this guy for the last 5 years, and he went from 0 to fucking badass in like a short amount of time. But yeah, it's like some people just have, and you know this, like some people just have that canvas, I'll call it, because it sounds more appropriate.
Yeah.
They have that canvas that you're like, oh yeah, this is it. And then other people are like, I really can't. And I hate that this is true for me, but maybe you find, I hope you find this to be true too, but you find those canvases that you're like, I can't actually pour what I want to in this. So there is a limitation to an extent or a certain spot of the body.
Yeah, it's most of the time that's a certain part of the body when I can't accomplish the high detail.
Yeah.
That's like your hands.
Yeah. Difficult.
Especially right here, anywhere here. Here, it's kind of, you can, but you're worried about it because of the bending and how it's going to heal.
Okay.
So why waste your time trying to get that high detail right there if it's going to fall out and you're going to come back? And it's all about the person taking care of it too. And there's a lot of variables into it.
A lot.
And that's where I'm like, I beat myself up. It's like, I think I did a good tattoo and I see it again and I'm like, no, what happened?
Yeah.
Like, did you do something? I did something.
Have you
What
done the
happened?
reverse though, where you thought, it's not what I wanted? Later, you take your eyes off it, you see the picture later, and you're like, oh shit, I did it.
Actually healed.
Okay.
Healed. So for some reason, it didn't look too great. I was like, man, I thought I got those values. I thought it happened. But then I see it healed, and I was like, that's
Yeah.
how it was going.
Yeah.
That's why I also tell my guys too. I tell myself all the time, just trust in what you know. Because most of the time it's confidence. All the time it's
Yeah.
confidence. If you know you're stuck, it's in there, it's in there.
That's
Get-
probably
make
something
it
I need
happen.
to start applying with the apprentices
Yeah,
in my shop.
'cause
Is let them know.
Yeah, if you're second guessing, you're half stepping. You're too soft. You're not supposed to be because you're second guessing. If you're confident, you're in there. I'm
Yeah.
working. And
Yeah.
once you understand it, it's easy. Anybody who has a style and the way they tattoo, once they understand how they're doing it and what they're doing, they go about it fast. That's why you see great artists working real fast and accomplishing these high detail or whatever work they're doing compared to someone who's just drawing real clean lines, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah,
Just
there's-
real simple tattooing, I can say. I'm not knocking the simple tattoos because simple tattoos are really good if you do them right.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You can easily mess those up.
Oh, those are the hardest
Yeah.
ones.
Yep, I say that a lot too. Like, if somebody wants just an outline of something simple,
Oh, man.
whenever people aren't artists or they don't do art at all, they always say the same thing. I can't draw a straight line. I'm like,
Me too.
yeah, what?
I try real hard to, though.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially tattooing it, things start to change.
Man.
But the variables are insane. You know,
Yeah.
like people watching and listening to this. By the way, Alex is on here. He's a tattoo artist. He's pretty loyal to the show. What's up, Alex? I'll say hi to everybody if I can. I see you guys getting on here. Jess, there's actually a couple of people on here that I've already mentioned. The 3RL guy or the 3RL king. So apparently you're making quite a dent in the universe with your technique. So that's cool. Mike's on here. Mike's on the show. Thanks for joining us, Mike. He's also in the studio. So thanks for being on here. But yeah, it's really cool to see like people that appreciate the art, even if it's just your clientele and your art because it's personal. What is something you get out of tattooing? This is also a couple of the questions. Before we get into you guys, I'll ask questions. We're going to answer them in a minute. I'll read them off and we'll kind of rattle off. But I want to know for you, like, what is it about tattooing? Because you said already as an artist, like tattooing is just, I always say it's kind of like an excuse. It gives me the excuse to do art, meaning it gives me, it pays me, it's popular. I would do it anyway somewhere else if it was window painting, if it was airbrushing on shirts, and that was the thing.
Definitely.
Pinstriping in the 70s and 60s. But anywhere it was going to be something at some point. But we were born in this time, in this era where like nurses, doctors, and lawyers, and thugs, everybody's getting tattooed. Yeah. So that's important to us. But what do you get out of it? Like as an individual, say the tattooing or the art or any aspect of it, what's something to you that like is really meaningful regarding that? It's a deep question.
Yeah, sure is. But every tattoo I feel is intimate. Every tattoo. That's why I'm real picky about who I tattoo on. Like that's why I'm not a walk-in shop.
Okay.
That's why I only do appointments. It's real, because I'm giving you a piece of me every day. I like to create. This is my outlet, create. Because if I wasn't doing something else, I would be creating something else, trying to do something else. It's just what I've always liked to do. When I do something, I try to do it as best as I can too. But my favorite thing is create something, taking something and making something out of it. Anything, but art as of tattooing, that's what the direction I just went.
Perfect.
It just took me. I don't know why neither.
I think that's probably one of the most significant things I've ever heard anybody say on any of my shows, including myself. Honestly, exactly what you just said. I can't wait to rewatch that one day. Seriously, because what you just said is, I feel that a lot, and I don't always say it that way. I try to shine it up and use all these fancy words, but exactly how you just said it that was perfect. Just to be able to create something and giving a piece of you away, because all of us artists, I know even Samurai as an apprentice, learning this, me as somebody who's been doing it my whole life, you, same thing. Really anybody who creates. I mean, we got Sheldon also off camera, guys, if you didn't know. Sheldon's over here in the corner hanging out, having a cigar with me. He's the same way. Like when he makes something, he doesn't want it to be a walk-in shop. He's not a tattooer, but he likes to work with his hands and build things. And people that are on here know Sheldon very well, and that he makes really badass shit. And he says the same thing. It's like, it's not about like all that stuff people think it is. I just want to make something that makes me feel like I'm connecting with it. And then when I'm done with it, that's the reward. It's not the money. I mean, all that stuff is a factor, but that's not the thing. You know? And it sounds like that's what you're kind of saying.
But lately I've been trying to like step away from tattooing. I even tried to stop tattooing for a while, and everybody's like, "Nah, just finish mine real quick. Finish me up real quick."
Okay.
I really like to cut.
You think is this new news to some of the people watching? Maybe some
people,
okay.
yeah. Some people knew that I wasn't gonna quit, and some people never heard that I was.
Now I got a fighting chance to be somebody as good as you one day. They can be like, "Oh, Robert's out of the way, so Josh is next." Cool. Let me know when that works out, and then I can maybe take over the scene.
But it wasn't quitting tattooing. It was just having so many come in, and I want to go into a different direction of the passion of giving a piece of myself to somebody differently. That's how I look at it. I spend so many hours with these people, and they take a lot out. They take from me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's not that I'm just giving you. I've gave you a lot, man. You don't understand how much it took me to get you this product that I'm giving you.
Man, I wish I could dude, you're a natural at this. I don't know if you know that. You say you've never done this before. No. This is like we're gonna have to get you a setup or something in your pad, because this is some real shit. And like, I wish I could say it like that. I've never been able to say it like that. What you just said is, fuck, dude. Like,
but that's what it is, though, right? You know what I mean? We spent a lot of time. You don't spend that much with your old lady sometimes. You know what I mean? And we're sitting there face to face. A lot of times, I used to have a lot of conversations with people. Now I'm a lot more quieter than I used to be.
Because you know it takes something.
That too, because I don't drink.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, yeah, that's.
But no, it does. It takes something. I go home and I was like, man, damn, I'm burnt. Like, and I didn't even do much, you can say, but I'm really burnt. That's like I put all myself into that, but I'm appreciative of their face when I see their face. And they're like, man, like what I gave them.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's the enjoyment of what I gave them. It took a lot out of me. Sometimes I put myself down. I'm like, I don't even know if they appreciate what I actually did for that.
Yeah.
To make that happen, to look like that. Yeah. Then sometimes I dumb it down because I get in my little moods. You know what I mean? I'll stay a couple of days. I'm like, I'm gonna do so much. A lot of people, if they're watching and they fucking like, man, I wonder if it's my tattoo he didn't work hard on.
Yeah.
Because there's some days I'm like, man,
they're all watching. They're all
yeah.
Maybe he's right here.
because I'm second guessing. It's
Yeah.
like, why should I put all this work into it? I don't know if they're appreciating exactly what I'm doing, but I can give them something basic and they're still going to love it exactly the same way. But are they appreciating the
That's interesting.
extra that I'm doing?
Because that extra takes something from you.
Yeah.
That little extra is
that
like
little-
the tipping point. Mm-hmm.
Going beyond it. But that's me wanting to do that extra, wanting to be that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's cool, man.
Making it.
I'm so pumped. I knew this was eventually going to happen, and I'm really thankful, obviously, that you agreed to come on the show. I've been asking you for a while. Promise you I'd set this up one day and like saying that this is going to happen. And then you reached out finally and we're like, hey man, if you're still down, I'm down. And I was like, I kind of already just had this expectation of like, cause I see your work. I've met you a couple of times before, ran into you at a convention once and then at an event. And I followed you closely. I've heard a lot of stuff. Other
We
artists.
first met, I don't even know if you remember because I know it was a hard time for you, but it was our show you did at Greg's. That's the first time we met.
Yep.
I bought a couple pieces from you and everything.
I wish I could say I remember.
But I'm sure you did it. And I
I
already
even,
know.
I even told Greg, I go, hey, bro, I'm really not here mentally right now. So all these dudes that are here, like, I really, the smartest thing I could say is like, tell them I appreciate them.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
a lot. But I remember
understand.
watching you too, and I know a lot of people got, a few guys that got tattooed by you that day too, and I saw your work, and I was like, what, dude, who's this guy, man? Like, I remember you're in the corner, like you were saying, like you don't like to talk a lot, you're just kind of in your zone. I saw the way you're working, and something very familiar. I saw something very, very familiar that day in the way you were working too, and then the few times I met you, like I think you're, in a way, I can read your character. I think because it's similar to mine. I think maybe one of the differences is that I sometimes try to take the artist out of me, honestly, times because it's like you're expressing, dude. It's hard. Like it, and I wish I could act tough and say, "Sorry, man, it's just tattooing, whatever." But there's something that, like internally that you're putting into this, and it's draining, it's tiring. You feel like you're giving something away, and whether it was okay or your best, they're still like, "Oh." I say this to the girls a lot because they'll do something kind of simple, not that it degrades it or anything, but they'll do something simple. They'll tattoo it, and they're like crying. Their customers crying in the mirror, like, "Oh, I love it."
Yeah.
And then I'll pour my heart into something. I'll pour my heart into it, and like they won't say a word.
They about to, here's your money.
And I'm like,
damn.
Yeah.
I did that.
so I'm glad I got a bunch of apprentices because I'll tell them, guys, am I good? I'm good, right? Like that was good. Can you see this picture? Is this good? Tell me the truth. Because they're like, yeah, that looks good. I'm like, no, I need something. You need to like reassure me. But then I realize, man, it's a blessing just to be able to do this. Like it's really a blessing to do something you care about. But it does, you're right, it does take something from you. And it is important because you're giving something to somebody that I also say too, like I don't like to work on people I don't vibe with.
It goes back to when we said, or when I said it's a picture of myself.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? It's a piece of me. They automatically see me on their skin. They see the tattoo, but they're like, Robert did that,
Yeah.
right? So
cool.
that's literally, they got a piece of me right there, and it's forever.
That's legit.
You know what I mean? They got me forever. They're
Yeah.
gonna remember. They may not remember me. Well, maybe.
Yeah. So what, again, in the industry, if you were to say something else too, that's like, again, with tattooing, like I'll give you an example of kind of what I'm asking for me is that I love the primitive nature of something that's been ancient. Like something
Oh, yeah.
fascinating about the fact that humans have been doing this. Actually, technically they've been doing this right here since the dawn of man, meaning sitting around having conversations, talking, storytelling, and like some of the most original storytelling was probably words and stories, cave paintings, and tattoos.
Yeah.
And it's been around forever. So there's something ancient about it that I feel like I'm partaking in, and I show that respect to it. This sort of there's a phrase that I use all the time with it. I'm forgetting it. But basically you're embarking on, you're being part of something that's been part of humanity deeply in a major way for a long time. Is there something about the industry like that to you? Or even just about, like I said, the art even alone?
Yeah, everybody walks around with my opinions is different. You know what I mean? They walk around with my art, so it's like back in the day, I used to say I wanted to tattoo the world.
Okay.
Now, not so much. I want to give everybody I tattoo on the best I can give them now. And before it was just, I just want to tattoo everybody.
Yeah.
It didn't matter if it was good or not, because back then I wasn't really caring if I was good. I was just, let's get this.
This is cool, man. This conversation is awesome. So we're going to get into some of the questions people asked, and we'll both respond. I don't know. Sometimes they're directed towards me specifically, but a lot of them be open-ended so we can kind of respond. Evan, is there any stuff in the comments that people are asking that maybe we should address to? If there is, you can bring them up, and I'll take a look. But I'll get to the first one here. and we can kind of both go back and forth with it. So this is the first one. This is coming from Facebook, and it says, how did you guys get started in the industry? We kind of covered it a little, but maybe we can touch on that for a second. Like in the industry, meaning tattooing specifically, like what's the first steps, right? Like obviously you need a machine, and you need to, like you pointed on, you need to watch somebody. You're going to have to, it's going to be something really important that you're going to need to see something like in a magazine. Like I used to look in magazines at the way people would hold the machines. Which way does the reservoir paint, hold, and how do they have the grip, and is there rubber band? Where is it at on the, the needle bar? And,
monkey see, monkey.
Yeah, that's all you had.
Yeah.
There was no Google when I started. There was no YouTube. That's for damn sure. But so how does somebody get started? Like how do you get started in the industry? Like
Nowadays, it's easy. I've told so many people, like you said, people walk into the shop. Still, my shop's private, and people still walk in and ask me, "Can you take an apprentice?" I was like, "Nah, but let me check you out. Let me see what you got."
Yeah.
And then they'll show them, and I give them advice. And every kid that comes in, I tell them, come sit down. Come hang out. They do once, twice, never come back. I was like, oh,
it's a
cool.
Cool idea for them.
Yeah, and that's where I look at it as, okay, I didn't give you too much information. I'm not going to give you too much information.
You got to earn it.
I'm gonna give you information, but you're gonna have to give me something in return.
Yeah.
Nothing's for free.
And you don't want to have to say that either, right?
Yeah, you shouldn't have to.
Yeah, I don't want to tell
have
you
that
that.
drive. No one told me. I had the drive. I was like, well, I got to do this, and this is gonna make this happen. Oh, look what's it doing, and then just snowball effect.
It's like it's an attitude or like a mindset.
Yeah,
you have to have that.
have
like,
it. Yeah,
this is it.
This is what I'm gonna do. Yeah.
If you're gonna be casual with it,
no, I've said it a long time ago, and I still say it today. If you have a job and you're trying to be a tattoo artist, it's your hobby. You're not being a tattoo artist. You're not quit your job. Be a tattoo artist.
Damn, that's real. That might
Someone
hit
got
some
to
people.
start at the bottom. You got to start at the bottom. Not
Right.
everybody can be on top.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And how much work would you say it is for that to happen? Like to go from that, because you alluded to it earlier by saying all this work I put into, I'm giving something away, and sometimes it doesn't. I don't know if it gets realized by the customer or by other people. What would you describe that process like? Like how long did it take for you to really start feeling some sort of benefit to doing it? Whether it's you're an artist or you're creative, or you have an outlet, or you're making money, it's a business, whatever it is. How much did you have to put into it for that to be the case? To feel like it was paying off?
To paying off? Ooh. Man, it was, I don't know. Like I said, I didn't take it serious for a while. It was just playing around and then making little change. When my kid came, I got real serious.
Okay.
So I took it to where it was like, I have to do this now. So like anybody puts on their shoes and goes to work every morning, I got to go to work every morning, but I don't get a paycheck. I got to make my paycheck. You know what I mean? So I got to make it happen, even if it's $20, $30. Yeah. I remember doing tattoos. I think my max was like 15 one day. And I was like, no, I can't keep doing this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Working all day, and every guy starts that way. I'm sure there's guys that are right there right now doing it.
Yeah.
Working hard days. I do one tattoo a day now. I don't do multiple tattoos, but I look at it different. Like I said, I'm giving you a piece of myself. I'm concentrating on you. It's me and you.
It's real.
Very intimate. It's not, here you go, get out, give me my money next. You know what I mean?
But you have to earn that position.
But you got to earn that. That's what I'm saying. I started and I got hungry and I kept going. As of these guys coming and asking me, oh, can you teach me? You didn't even want to keep coming to the shop. Yeah. And then when I opened the door for you and said, yeah, come hang out. Maybe you hang out enough, you'll learn something, and maybe you'll be able to stick around. You know what I mean?
So you're waiting for them to monkey see, monkey do, and just that's it. Like, do that.
Like, check this out. Look what I did just by coming over here. You know, just make it happen. But I don't do that. I won't do that for a guy who's already doing it and making it happen for themselves.
Yeah.
And then you just want to come over here and chill. No, these little young, hungry. Yeah. You can tell which ones are which.
Samurai, what would it take for me to get rid of you as an apprentice?
I don't know.
Not gonna happen.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I've tried.
Yeah,
I tried a couple of times.
work.
The universe has even tried taking you from us.
It didn't work.
It's not gonna work.
No.
Why is that? Because you're probably listening to a lot of what Robert's saying, and it's got to be hitting home to a large degree too.
Does. It's kind of like, I don't know. It's kind of like a part of him like saying all this is like I look up to that because that's what I'm thinking and that's how I feel too. But like I'm still young. I'm still a baby to this. Like I'm just walking into this. But
I'm
like,
still a baby too. Always stay a baby. Because if you're not a baby, you stop learning.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
super true. Yeah. I would say like nothing would really take me away from this, no matter what. Like even if you told me like don't come back to the shop, oh I'm gonna come back. You might be mad about
She's
me
not
coming back. I'm gonna come back.
Yeah.
Okay, remember I was talking about the guy who sits next to me and he's popping these tattoos, my little homie Nate. Well, he's another guy that was working for me, his little brother, and I saw something in him. I was like, you need to do this. I gave him a gun, gave him the crash course, and he was in it. He was in the shop doing it. I was like, no, you got to slow down a little bit. You got to go. He went. No, he didn't do nothing. I was like, no, you just got to go. You got to learn a different way.
Yeah.
He went, and he kept going. He didn't stop. He's still there. Now he's back at my shop doing it. Doing real good.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
like,
cool.
man, this kid, and he's only like 3-4 years into tattooing. And then like the first maybe half a year he was with me. Then he left, went to another shop. Then he kind of tried to do it on his own. Then he's back with me and he's banging.
That's cool.
And doing real good tattoos. I'm like, man, as fast as he picked it up, but he had all this opportunity and access to information.
Yeah. See, that's what's trippy is like you're right. Like something that it will be missing in this, and I hate to be the old dude saying this, but it's real. This new generation, really as true as ever, maybe even when, electric tattooing came over 100 years ago, probably made a huge impact right away on how and who could partake in doing tattoos now. That I think was probably dwarfed by the internet, by Amazon,
Yeah,
by
anybody can
rotary
do it.
machine, not rotary, but by pen style, cartridge machines. Now you literally can just, and it's like pretty low budget stuff that isn't the best, but it works. You can work with it, and you don't have to know. There's a whole bunch of shit you just don't even know. You don't have to know anymore. And I can't say, oh well, I'm gonna be romantic about the past, and you got to learn this way. Although I still, if you're gonna be professional with me, I want to teach you everything I know.
Yeah.
And so you're going to start how I started. And you're going to learn some of the stuff I learned. I want everybody that I teach to at least start using a coil, because I think it teaches them a lot about not just the history of it, but the fundamentals, because you can see it working. Whereas the pen, you don't know anything about like dampening the needle. You don't know anything about the depth of throw, how hard it hits. Like you don't adjust all that really, so you don't get that interaction. But it's interesting because now you could just go on Amazon, get your thing, and people are doing it. And I hate to say this, I guess it shouldn't bother me at all, but they're doing well.
Yeah, it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
It's went from, I don't want to say primitive, but it went from primitive to now more.
It was primitive. Even when we started, it was primitive.
Now it's different. It's even the artist is a different person, so we're able to get different styles of art. Like back in the day, it was your typical type of dude that was doing tattoos. It's a rough part of town.
Yeah,
and
you're right.
Rough guys, but now, no, you got little samurai.
You got samurais.
Yeah, you got
And it
samurais
is
doing
really cool,
tattoos now.
'cause
You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying.
I will say this: her family's like really involved too. Like they're really close, and it's really cool to see that support. Like I tattoo some of her family, and they've been in the shop, and it's like really cool to see that no father would have been like, oh yeah, go into
Back
that
in the
tattoo shop
day,
downtown.
Yeah, back in the day, yeah.
They'd
Now
be
it's different.
You're
yeah.
in a tattoo shop. What did I do to my kids?
Yeah.
That's a huge shift. So that's interesting. So let's get to the next question. By the way, Samurai, if you have any questions or anything you want to talk about too, or any input, then feel free.
Yeah, Robert, what type of machine do you use?
Oh man, I got quite a few of them actually. My favorite one I always go back to is the Injector Nano.
Okay.
So that's the one I always go back to.
I've seen you use that like in some of your photos.
Yeah, that's the one. I like the wand when I want to work fast. So like I said, my mood on the day is like, oh, I got to be fast today. Let me pull this wand out. That wand will get real crispy and real fast with me. But the Nano, like, it's calming when I tattoo with it. It's real.
There's something different
Yeah,
about
it's the way it hits the skin is different. That's what I'm saying.
It's a coil?
No, it's a rotary. It's the Injector. So it looks like a homemade gun.
Yeah.
It
but
looks funky,
done.
huh?
Yeah, they're strange.
Yeah, it looks like a homemade gun, but
not?
like you
Yeah.
CNC. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's very strange. But you like that one just because it adds a little bit different of a
Yeah,
sort of
I
flow.
look at them like this. I've told other artists too how I look at it as you want to drive a Corvette, You want to drive a 4x4. You want to drive. So, and that's how I look at these machines. And certain ones
Yeah.
get you there a certain way, but you're gonna get there. Just which
Yeah.
one you're gonna use.
That's exactly what I tell the apprentices too, that if you want a coil, the biggest difference in machines to me is when you use a coil or an old school rotary, even just something mechanical, in that literal way, to a glorified doorbell, right? To the new stuff, which is just pens and cartridges, just click it and you go. It's the difference between taking a Volkswagen Safari window bus across country,
Yes.
which is fun.
Yeah.
But you're gonna
It's
have
a
to
roller
stop-
coaster.
Yeah, you're gonna have a trip. You're gonna need friends with you. You need extra parts. You need
Yeah.
everything a Volkswagen bus is gonna need. You're gonna have to stop. You're
Yeah.
gonna have to stop places you didn't want to longer than you wanted to, and sometimes it's not gonna work out for you.
Yeah.
And that does happen. That's happened to me with coils before. I've been
That's
dead in the
why
water.
I hate coils.
Yeah. And then you have Hondas.
Yeah.
It's not glorified. It's not fun. Nobody's looking at your machine going, "Whoa, that's really cool." It doesn't make
Yeah.
any noise. It doesn't. Nobody's disturbed by this Honda. It's just a Honda and it goes. Nobody pulls you over. Nobody cares. You don't break down. But you get to enjoy the scenery. You're worried. You're more considered, with your company, and then because I can talk to people now. I don't. My coils aren't ringing in our ears. I can hear my music.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be loud. So it is. It's like I always said, Volkswagen or Honda, and so it sounds like exactly what you said about
Yeah.
that too. That's kind of cool. That answered your question. Same way. Cool. Let's get to the next question. Let's go here. Describe your tattoo experience either receiving or with a customer. So we've both been tattooed. So if you were to describe, she said describe your worst tattoo experience. That's kind of a hard one.
Yeah.
I usually don't go there too much because it's so personal, because there's some bad ones and it's like, I don't want to really throw them under the bus.
It's not even the experience. It's something that they do. It's not even a particular person, because there can be times when you're tattooing on somebody and it's like they sit well, and then today it's like, what's the matter?
Yeah. What's up?
What's the matter? Why
Yeah.
you ain't sitting here? Let's do this another day.
Yeah.
You know
That's
what I mean?
real.
Then sometimes they're just sitting there and they're chill. Not a lot of times, but
I will say
there's just little pet peeves you can say.
Okay.
Nothing really bothers me. Like, I've been doing it for a long time, so I've kind of like learned how to work around a lot of things. And
you learn people real quick.
yeah, you learn people real quick, and that's another reason why I don't do walk-ins or nothing like that.
Yeah.
I'm real picky about it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's good, man. You deserve it. It sounds like you've put a lot of time, and you kind of mentioned that you put a lot of time into what you're doing, and you've sacrificed a lot, I'm sure.
A lot.
Like, you're not making money a lot of times. I mean, for years, man. Like, I'm just assuming, and tell me if I'm wrong. I'll just kind of be specific. Years and years, hours and hours, late nights, no sleep, stress, going to bed, worrying about that thing you did. Like, especially at the beginning when you're first starting, you have nightmares about like that mistake or something just haunts you, especially when you're young and you don't know,
Oh, yeah.
man.
There's some of those.
Like, you got to. I always say it's like you got to go out and get lost in the desert. You got to go. Some people call it climbing the mountain. You have to do the work to climb the mountain. I like the desert analogy, man, because you're gonna be hungry, you're gonna be starving. There's no scenery. There's nothing fun. There's no shade. It's all sunshine beating down on you, and it's rough, man. And there's no payoff until you finally get out of the desert and realize, holy shit. But you needed that you need that experience for a long period of time. It can't be a day. It can't be, it's years and years of your time, and then eventually, for me, the payoff, like you were kind of saying earlier too, is like seeing somebody with something that you're proud of and that they just love and they get to wear it forever. And then they're in public, somebody sees it and comes back to you and says, man, I saw that thing you did.
I like that.
It's like you're making some sort of effect out in the world. It's really cool. So I think that's a very special experience. But, the time went in, the stress, the time away from family, it's real. I mean, this is not a 9 to 5.
Oh no.
This is your life.
Yeah.
Like, you're tattooing to make money because you have things you have to buy. It's not free. But then also you have the artist in you that needs to develop. And that's on your own time, man. And I would say I've spent my whole life doing that part.
Yeah, the art. To learn the art, you have to do that out of tattooing. There's a lot of guys that learn art while tattooing.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
It takes a lot longer to do it. If you do art outside of the tattooing, you'll get better at
Okay.
tattooing.
So would you be of the opinion that to be a tattoo artist, you should be an artist?
No.
To be a tattooer?
No, to
Okay.
be a tattooer, depending on what style you want to be in, you want to be this walk-in shop on Vegas Strip,
Yeah.
you can go and do tattoos. Anybody can do those ones. But if you want to be an artist who has a niche and a style that somebody's looking for, and oh man, they fall in love. It's like when you see a painting on the wall, and it's like not everybody's gonna like that painting, but that one person that spoke to them. So
Yeah.
there's artists that speak to certain people. and they can choose whatever art they want. So
Yeah.
I don't think you have to be.
I like that answer because I definitely don't. I think, and this is how I teach apprentices as well. And I've had quite a few apprentices that have became artists and now do their own thing, and they're like, they blow my mind. The stuff they do, I'm like, I can't even do that in a year. A year they're doing it, 2 years, sometimes even sooner. Like right out the gate, I'm like, but also they say this a lot.
A lot of people take the information differently.
Yeah, they do.
You know what I mean? You can say it one way and meaning it a way, and they take it a different way. Sometimes they don't take it a good way, and they don't learn shit.
Yeah.
But sometimes they'll take it and they do it their way. I don't know.
My artist Midna, she tells me all the time. She's like, "Well, you taught me." Like I'll say, "How did you do that?" She's like, "You showed me." I'm like, "I did not show you how to do that. I have no idea how to do that. I couldn't even tell you how to do that."
Yeah.
So, but it is.
But
cool.
you can't tell nobody how to be an artist.
No.
What you're teaching her is the do's and don'ts of a tattoo tool.
The skill.
Yeah, the skill on using these tools and
Yeah.
this equipment. As an artist, she's the one who has to be like, no, this is how I'm going to lay this line down. This is how my line should be laid down. Just like some people are finesse, some are brute, some are really.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's some people who just butcher people on.
That's true. I think. Well, there's always going to be people who don't care that much into it. It's just.
But they try so hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some guys who really try, and I'm like, man, no.
What do you think they're missing? Because you're saying like their stuff's just not healing right. It's not even the art's not coming out solid, or they're everything about it's kind of just falling apart.
Yeah, and then they tend to go backwards. It's
like, let me ask you this: do you think somebody is doing those things for years? Let's say they're at home, they're drawing in their bedroom for years and years and years. They're not very good, but they're not taking no for an answer from themselves. They keep hammering away. They start to tattoo. They work in a shop. They get a mentorship somewhere, or do what you were describing as monkey see, monkey do, just absorbing everything. They're pouring it all into it. 5-10 years later, and they're really going in. Like maybe they have a part-time job for a while to pay for their now new endeavor. But do you really think that it's possible that person just there's something they just don't get? Yeah.
It's like some people want to be Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
You just don't have the attributes.
Okay. So do you think someone's lying to him possibly? Like, do you think people are misleading them? It's kind of a sexy industry in the sense that it's cool.
It's more of what comes with it than what you got to do to get it.
Yeah, I see that.
You know
I see
what
that
I mean?
a lot.
Yeah.
I think that's
want
more that than the people who
they want what comes with it and not to what you got to put to be
sort of quick
a high
fix.
level. Yes.
It's like instant gratification. That's pretty common. I get it. So let's go to the next question. Evan, was there a question somebody was saying to ask? Okay, sorry guys again for not getting to all of them. I knew we wouldn't because honestly, Robert, I love these conversations like this. This is awesome. Like it's really cool to hear your take on this, even for me, because it does. I want to say it gets lonely. I need some sad music. It gets lonely. It gets really lonely. You're just all by yourself. First sound effect. But it does, man. Like you're by yourself. You're focusing. You're deep into it. You're dedicated to something. And oftentimes, like me, I find myself alienated, from a lot of the world in general. Like I'm doing, whether it's building a set for like months at a time by myself in here, sometimes with help. And it's actually better when there's help.
There's a lot of stuff I don't know or what's happening, what's going on. It's because I'm so in my world.
Yeah.
And you have to be. Well, you got to obsess yourself to be something good.
Yeah.
Anybody who's great at something, they obsess over themselves.
I agree.
Slightly narcissistic.
Well, you mentioned Michael Jordan. That's who you said. Do you have? Is there a reason why you picked him as an example? I mean,
because everybody considers him the greatest at what he did. What the greatest basketball player? He's the greatest at, and to do where he worked his motherfucking ass off.
Yeah, right. And that's cool. You say that. Him and Tyson and a few other athletes have always been somebody I look up to because, dude, like their ethic. Like there's a book that his coach, I'm forgetting the name, Relentless. There's a book written by Michael Jordan's coach,
Phil Jackson.
Phil Jackson. I'm thinking of someone else. Then it was maybe it wasn't his coach. It was like it was one of his coaches or somebody. I'm forgetting his name. If you look up the book Relentless, you'd see his name. But this guy wrote about MJ and talked about him, and he's like, I'll tell you the difference between him and everyone else is the way he thought about himself. Like you know about the flu game and how he got sick. It's a really common story. He had the flu. Doctor comes in the night before the big game and is like, hey, he's not gonna be able to play. And Michael Jordan bent over the ground, falling apart, looks up and says, "Get that doctor out of here." Dude, like when I'm sick, all I want is like someone to care about me, love me, give me some soup. I'm just like, I'm useless. And this dude's falling apart. And this doctor says, hey, he's not gonna be able to play tomorrow. And in that state of mind, he's like, get that guy out of here, because he's protecting his mindset. Mm-hmm. That is like rare. I mean,
you gotta be obsessed with yourself.
Yeah. And you have to have that level, what you were talking about at the beginning of the conversation, you have to have that level of not disappointment with yourself, but that level of looking at your stuff and going, I can be better. But it can't be so bad.
No,
that it stops you. It's like, I just suck.
There's times, and I'm sure you get them. I'm sure she gets them, and you'll always get them. No matter, I'm sure every artist gets it. It gets into this point where am I doing the right thing?
Yeah.
Am I just not that good?
Yeah.
Because you see the other ones that are greater than you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And you compare.
Yeah, and you compare.
Because you want that a little bit.
And you beat yourself down, and you're like, I'm cool. Mm-hmm. I'm cool. But then you're like in a rut, and you don't know what, and you're just now on autopilot.
Yeah.
And then you get out this rut, and you're like, oh, shit. Nah, I'm crazy.
I'm glad you're saying this. I'm really glad you're saying this, especially because Samurai's here right now. This is the process. Like in reality, this is the process. Like you're going to have seasons. You're going to have pitfalls. You're going to have roller coasters. It's not going to go. You're not going to get somewhere and stay there. Well, hopefully not. Hopefully you don't get somewhere and stay there.
No, because that's want to.
That's falling behind. But it's that constant, and you kind of start to realize as you get older, right? That's where the wisdom comes in, where you go, this is just part of it.
Yeah.
Like this is absolutely part of it. Is you're gonna feel. There's still days to this this week where I'm like, I'm just fucking losing it, man.
Yeah.
I don't want to fucking go to work. And then there's times where I'm like, I go home and my son sees these days where I'm like, dude, it's fucking working, dude. It's fucking all working.
Yeah.
And he's like, awesome, Dad. I'm proud of you. And then there's days where I'm like, I just want to go to bed. That sucked.
Let's go tomorrow. Let's start tomorrow.
But it's always, it's never a give up. It's always just this is the part of the process. So Samurai gets to see a lot of that. And I like to be as transparent about that as possible, because when you're learning, it's really, if you don't know this process yet, it could be very, not just daunting, but confusing. And the more you can, I think, get clarity with this is part of the process, the less you have to stumble through the fact that you're going to stumble, meaning like just accept that this is going to suck for a long time, and often, sometimes more than it goes right, it goes wrong, then you're on the path and you're learning, so you're growing. And I think that's
forward.
Yeah, fail forward, right? Yeah. Fail your way to success.
Yeah.
That's like who started and just was good all the time.
Yeah.
It's not real, man. But we think it is because you see those people and you think, oh, they're just there.
Yeah.
Evan, what question did we miss? Or is it too far back? There's probably a lot. You guys, I'm really glad that you're watching, and I hope you're getting something out of this. I actually think this is definitely one of the best episodes. And I mean that, like, I'm really excited about this because I have a really good feeling this is guaranteed. It's not going to be the last time we do something like this.
We should get Greg up in here and
Dude,
have a couple guys up in
we
here.
Will.
Yeah,
we will. We'll do it. We're definitely making that happen. So let's see. Is that the question, Bub?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to Diana. She's saying, I have a question. So what would you throw the client's vibe off for either what? Sorry. So what would throw the client's vibe off for either of you? Attitudes, talks too much, ? Throw the vibe off?
Oh, like when we're tattooing.
Yeah.
What
like
makes
what
it I don't want to deal with this or to the right now. It's the mood again. It's like some days I'm in there and you can chop it up with me and I'm chopping it back up. Then there's some days I'm going, don't talk to me, man. Just leave me alone. Let me work. Let me get about my business. It's really my mood on the day sometimes.
Yeah. Because you got to understand, people, it is hard, I think, for people to understand that, they're getting tattooed by us once a year, once a month, once every 6 months, sometimes once every couple of weeks for a year, and then nothing for a year. This is what we're doing every day. We're coming in contact with a physical human every single day, making them bleed, making them hurt, making them hurt in the wallet, making them hurt in the skin, all kinds of ways, maybe even in the heart, because I say some pretty mean shit to my clients sometimes.
Yeah, you do.
So
I think some of my clients are scared of me and they're just, you know what I mean? I don't want to fuck this up.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe that's why they don't compliment us all the time. Even if your work great, they're like, yeah, man, it's dope. Or they'll be like, it's good. Thank you. Here's the money. Like, oh, fuck, I made it out of there. I don't know. Maybe that's the case. That
Probably.
Could be. Yeah, I think, that's cool. So to that comment, I think for me, what throws off the vibe is because most people are pretty stable, man. Like the people that I tattoo, the people that come in, I work with a bunch of, I know so many rad people. It's very rare you get those people that are a little off, but we've been doing this for so long, our whole lives, that you can pick up on that pretty quickly.
Really quick.
And there's always easy ways to get out of it. It's not always. I shouldn't say it's always easy.
I filter through.
Yeah.
So I'm not a walk-in shop. No, it's
Yep.
appointments only. So
for a
I'm
reason.
able to filter them through their conversations. When they hit
Yeah.
me up, I can tell by their conversation. I'm like, oh no,
Yeah.
this we're not friends, so I don't need a back and forth conversation from you.
Yeah.
We're doing business.
Yeah.
Maybe if you sit down and we become friends, but then we can talk and be a little. But let's get past this transaction first.
Okay.
And then we can
Yeah, do
see
that
how
part.
then we can do the intimate part.
Okay, I get that.
Like
Because
prostitute.
it's kind of what it turns into sometimes. Because what happens is people come in and they're like, "You're a therapist right away," and they just want
Oh,
to get
yeah.
into it. And I'm like, "Dude, I don't need to know about your personal life that fast."
I bet you prostitutes are therapists too, man.
They are guaranteed. They're probably the
I don't know
number.
if
They are
prostitute's
therapists.
the right word, whatever the word
Oh,
is.
I'll go with it. I'll go with it. Actually, I think I told it to the girls today that I'm kind of like a pimp. Like I'm kind of like a pimp. Not that
Hey.
I'm like selling chicks, but
Yeah.
I'm trying to teach, and you got to learn from me. But at the same time, I need you to win, and so the business can win. But it's like you actually have to perform, and then you show respect at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Some of the girls call me shop father, and
There you go.
And I mean, I think that it's, even though it's kind of
Yahweh.
funny. What'd you say, Samurai?
Yahweh.
Yahweh, that's right. Inside joke. So yeah, let's get to another question. This is good stuff. Was there another one, Bubba, that came up that we want to address?
Yeah, Brandon.
Okay, so Brandon says, "What are your favorite pieces to make?" I think this is going to be easier for you to answer than me. Maybe I'm wrong.
There's really no favorite. It's about the artistic freedom. Once you told me, you give me your references, you give me everything you want on your tattoo, and then I go and I make what I think should look good. My representation of your idea.
Yeah.
I like that.
And that could be a rose, a
Anything.
face, character,
But
words.
if you're open to me doing something and thinking outside the box, I'm down for it. But if you want that, I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
But if you want me to think outside the box and really give you something that, and that's rare. A lot of people like that because they need to know what they want.
Yeah.
But I do get some because I got some people who just love my art.
and they'll just say, "Yeah,
yeah,
man, roll it."
this is what I want. However you want to do it, make it happen.
I get that
And
a
those-
lot too,
yeah,
and I see it with new artists that they don't get that because they don't have that yet, that opportunity yet.
They haven't developed a style, or they're still on the monkey see, monkey do.
Yeah.
Like, I like this, so I'm gonna try to tattoo like this. So I don't know.
So you would say artistic freedom is the thing that
Yeah,
that's-
just let me. Like, it don't have to be what I like to draw, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's certain things I like to draw, but then it don't have to be that. But if you're willing for me to interpret the way I would think, say you want a Sacred Heart or
Yeah.
something simple, how I would want to draw it, I'll draw it for you.
Yeah.
And I'm going to draw it different than the last time I drew it. I'm not going to give you the same one I just did on somebody else. I'm trying to change you with something different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Test myself some more.
I got a good question for you. Because I'm going to describe how it works for me, the creative process, and tell me what you think about this. So it's kind of a question, sort of. Well, it is a question, but I'll frame it this way. It's like when somebody starts telling me what they want, they give me ideas, I have to slow them down. I want this, and then I was thinking here, but if you want to do it here, but I also have this.
Oh, see, I
You
don't.
gotta stop.
Yeah, I don't deal with that.
Yeah, you gotta stop.
Yeah, I don't deal with that.
Because what happens in my
I
brain?
tell them what you want.
Yeah. Where do you want it? First, tell me where you want something.
Yeah.
And then,
okay,
like,
let's think about that.
Yeah.
Let's go with that. Let's
have to
focus
stop
on
'em.
this.
And
Yeah.
that happens a lot.
A lot.
Yeah.
And I still get it from customers I like tattooing on.
Yeah.
And they just got so many ideas. They just don't know where to go. And I'm like, let's stop.
Mikey.
Where you want to go right today? This is what we're
Mikey,
doing today.
Mikey's kind of like,
Yeah.
you got it, Mikey. Yeah, but he's got good ideas, and that we roll with it. We work well. But there's some people, I always describe it like, one of those, I forget the toy's name, but it's like a big round thing. You pull this long string, and there's like an arrow in the middle, and when it stops, it lands on something and makes that noise. Do you remember that toy? It was old, bro. It's like 80s, 70s toy. It's this huge round thing. You pull a string, it spins, and it lands on something. That's how my brain works, dude. You got to stop spinning. You got to stop pulling the string for me to land on something. And they don't realize, like, you're spinning. Slow down. Stop. Like, brakes, please.
Sometimes I don't even tell them nothing, and I'll just go with their first original idea, and I'll tell them this is what we're doing today.
Yeah. You got to show them sometimes. You got to lead them. Like,
This
there's
is
a lot of
what
people.
we're doing today.
Yeah, they're not creative or artistic. Most people, technically aren't, like, if you really look at the psychology of it, people aren't very, the average person is not creative or artistic.
Yeah.
So they don't know that process. And when you're the highly creative or whatever, wherever you land up on that scale of highly creative or sort of creative, if you're highly creative and they pull that fucking string and your wheel spin and lands on something and then they try to do it again and again and again, you have to learn quickly, stop. Like, and then if you give them something great, they're like, oh, that's exactly what I wanted. I'm like, you gave me 100 things you said you wanted, but that's cool. Any more questions, Bubba, that we're going to get to on the stream that we should address?
We can do Mandy.
Okay, Mandy, do you like doing portrait tattoos? I'm going to give that one to you.
At the moment, I kind of calmed down on them because that's what everybody was. I think I was doing like 2 portraits a week, 3, sometimes 4. Oh man,
Something else?
portrait is real draining compared to just tattooing because a portrait you can't mess up. It has to be on point, and if it's not on point, you messed up. As of if I'm drawing a rose, I don't have to look at the picture.
Yeah.
I can to reference to make it look as real as possible.
But you can change.
But I can change.
And it's still a rose.
And it's still a rose.
But a person
has
like,
to be on
if it's your
point.
Aunt Rose
Yeah.
with the eyes off or a little different.
Or it looks like
anything.
your cousin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't
Or
look
her
like,
older self.
Yeah. It don't look. Yeah. It's like,
Yeah.
or don't look like them at all. Sometimes
Yeah.
some people be.
No, I feel you. It's ironic because I actually love portraits. If I could only do them every single day, that's what I would do.
Well, believe it or not, portraits enhanced my my realism and going fast because portraits take a long time.
Okay.
A real long time to capture all the detail in the face. A lot of people just kind of smoothing it out, but I try to. I'm like getting back to being real anal about certain things. If I see it, I'm gonna try to put it in there.
Okay.
Some people take out detail.
Yeah.
I do that now. I try to simplify, and I learned these from the guys that are with me. They simplify some, and I'm like, oh, that still looks good. I don't need to put that little wrinkle all the time or something that needs to.
Yeah,
because if I see it, I'm gonna do it.
Okay.
And,
So for me, it's portraits. If I could do anything.
Yeah.
And for you, it's like just a lot. Like you're saying, just like
I like portraits because I'm good at it, and it's impressive. Everybody really loves in portraits, but it's draining, especially doing them 3 or 4 a week.
That's cool. I could do them. I would like to do one every single day.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've done them for years, and I have yet to be.
Famous or personal? Because personal is harder than famous.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, because it matters a little more too. They're like, they love this
not
person
only
probably.
that, I've learned. Okay, let's take a Tupac portrait.
Yeah.
Everybody knows what Tupac looks like. You can mess it up,
Bubba,
and you
should bring up
still think it's
this word.
Tupac, right? But if you mess up the person's grandma, they know right away you ruined my grandma.
Click on that. There you go.
But when they see the Tupac,
yeah. Because
it's so
they know.
recognizable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So we're pulling up some of your work now. I had this ready because I wanted to show people because we could talk till the cows come home. There might be some people on here that don't know you. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if they've been living under a rock, if you don't know who this guy is. But this is your work, and you're talking about the Tupac. So we had that up.
Oh, yeah, the Tupac.
And you're exactly right about that experience because personal is really hard. But, man, when you do this kind of stuff, because there's even a personal one right there.
Yeah, the personal ones. I like to do personal ones in 2 sessions.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't like that 2 sessions because they want instant gratification.
Especially portraits.
Yeah, portraits. I love 2-session portraits because then it's just like I get my main shape and I worry about it looking like them.
The accuracy.
Yeah, and then it's accurate. The next time, now I'm making it more lifelike.
Okay.
Now the accuracy is already there. Now I can play.
Yeah.
And it's
the accuracy is
the key on
Yeah,
portraits.
you screw that up, it's done.
It's done.
Doesn't matter how good your shading, how 3D it looks.
I'm picking it apart.
Okay.
There's people, man, I pick my portraits apart.
Bubba, can you go up to Vanessa's question? Just a little bit up. Scroll right there. So Vanessa's on here saying, what are your least favorite tattoo requests? That's a good question. Least favorite tattoo requests?
Least favorite. I don't like animals. Okay. Animals and flowers. And it's not.
There's so many cat lovers out there. You just crushed right now. Like,
and it's the fur. It's like, it's hard to capture it. And I'm anal about it. And it's to capture the fur. It's sometimes it's even on a portrait. It's harder to do the face, the fur, any kind of hair. It's harder than doing the actual face. And sometimes it even takes longer. Like when you do a lion, the face part's easy.
Fast.
But then you're trying to make this happen and you half step it because you're tired and you're burnt out of doing all that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times I try to minimalize this, but Yeah, animals and flowers. Flowers just because, I don't know, not my thing.
If somebody comes to you and it's an appointment, they get in with you. You like to be contacted through Instagram for your appointments.
Yeah.
So if somebody comes to you and makes a request, what are some of the ones that you're like, I'm probably not gonna do that, but if you're open to me twisting it or exaggerating or doing your work to it, what is it?
There's even some like they'll give it to me and I'm like, oh, I can make that look dope.
Okay.
Let me do that. Yeah, I'll do that. And I would never have, but when they show it to me, I'm like, oh, yeah, I can make that look dope.
I hope that people watching this that don't know you and haven't seen your work go to your Instagram, because there's stuff in your Instagram that I've seen. You did a pair of shoes years ago. It was Nikes, I believe, like Air Jordans or something. And the shading on it, just I remember sitting down and being like, I got to figure. There's more shit for me to know. Like there's stuff. This guy's doing this. There's something out there more for me to know. And so I started looking more at your stuff. I don't know if it was recent, but you did. I think it was Daffy Duck or Donald Duck. I don't remember which character, the name of the character, but it was a duck.
The last duck I did. This is a while back though.
It was a while.
Yeah, Scrooge McDuck.
That's what it was. Yes. Scrooge. Yeah, Scrooge McDuck.
Yeah.
So, yeah, was it? Is it? I don't know. I forget. There's so many duck characters. I forget.
The rich one.
The rich guy. Yes. And I think there was a money symbol or something. Yeah. Or a chain or something on him.
Yeah, I put a cube in with a weed medallion.
Yeah, and I mean this, and I think because a lot of people, I do get a lot of really good, a ton of good positive responses, especially from my clients and family and friends and people that respect me and my work, and we get along well. Of course, I get a lot of that positive feedback, of course, but I don't think they often get to hear me talk about other people's work. And I mean it when I say this. I see that stuff and I'm like, I got to get to work. I got to get to work. Hey, that
duck impressed me.
Yeah, good.
Hey, no, if you see that one in person, the lines are like, man, it's perfect.
Yeah, when I looked at it, I'm like,
smooth.
It blew my mind.
Me too. Like sometimes I hit it on the head and I'm like, whoa, dang, that came out really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that duck is really good.
I'm glad you say that.
And actually, I got a brand new machine when I did that duck, and I don't even like that machine.
Oh yeah.
Nah, but it's a really good machine, and the reason why I don't like it is because it's a loud machine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Noisy.
But it's a great machine.
Okay.
And it's a pin style machine. The
Numas.
Yes.
Okay.
Great machine.
Yeah.
The liner, man, damn near close to a coil, I want to say.
So you pulled that off with a machine you didn't even necessarily like.
Yeah. It's just the way I like to work. Because that loudness to me, it's distracting. Yeah. I like like I said, I like the injector. It feels calming.
Okay.
The way the sound of the needle hits the skin. But
Okay.
the other machine just it's not working.
Mike is asking a question, even though he's sitting here. What is the most intimate part of the body you've tatted? Okay, so there's going to be two questions here. One is his question. We'll answer it first, but also let's get to right after that terminology, because I was asking you about that earlier.
Uh-huh.
There's always words that rub people wrong, and I think it's just natural for everybody to have those words, whatever it is and whatever you're talking about. So in the tattoo industry especially, there's words like, I fucking hate the word tatted.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why.
They're separate. I separate them now. So you're tatted or you're tattooed.
Okay.
So
Okay.
you know what I mean? Tatted, you just go in and get your little tats.
Yeah. Okay.
If you're tattooed, you're tattooed like Mike.
Okay. I get
Mike's
it.
over here tattooed up. You know what I mean? He's not tatted up.
You hear that, Mike? Tattooed up. Yeah. Okay. I dig that. I dig that because it's not wrong.
No, it's
the word's
not. It's
wrong.
just, that's what I'm saying. There's styles. Everybody's
Yeah.
what they're
I
into.
dig
It's
that.
what they want to
That's
look
so
like.
cool. That's so cool to hear. So what's the most intimate part of the body you've tatted? Sorry, that word just gets me. He's probably doing it on purpose. Male or female? I mean, what is the most intimate part of the body? This always gets me because I don't know how to answer it. I'm a tattoo artist, so I work with bodies every day. So to me, it's a body.
Yeah, it's a body.
Like it really.
I don't like doing under here because when I do under here, I work upside down.
Yeah,
so
that's
it's like
weird.
the Spider-Man kiss. You know?
Yeah, but to your crotch. You're like, this is weird. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
The Spider-Man kiss.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's legit.
I'm like, my face is right there on their face. Yeah, fuck that.
That's terrible. I get that too. That's a real one. I did a funny video once, just being silly on TikTok, I think, and it was the tattoo positions you put people in. And like I call certain one like the give blood position because everybody knows it. So I'm like, they're like, how do you want me to sit? I'm like, give blood, and they do that. And then also there's the inner arm right here, and you have to be all up on them. And I call it the touch my nuts. I try not to say touch my nuts, but I just call it touch my nuts because You're nice, dude. I've been grazed. It
Sit
happens.
there and work like
Yeah, you're
this slow.
Sorry.
Their hands
Yeah,
right there.
and I love when they hit and they say something. I'm like, just don't say it. Like,
Just
like,
pretend
sorry.
like it never happened.
Right.
You know?
Yep. I had a lady straight hit me one time because I was stenciling her, and she goes to lift her arm to look, and she just right across me. I'm like, oh hi, and she's like, I'm sorry. I'm like, let's just keep going. How do you like the tattoo, please? But it's an intimate experience because you're always with a human.
Yeah.
Like your job is always with a human.
Yeah.
Artists tend to be introverts. Typically, artists,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
very solo people. So I don't think the body's weird, uncomfortable, or anything. As a professional, I work with it every day, and it just becomes my canvas. But then there's still times where it's like, oh yeah, like you, again, a lot of people don't understand that are not tattooers or working with people like this. We're dealing with blood every single day. We're dealing with humans every day, pain every single day, stories, intimacy in an intimate sort of setting. Things like that, of course, are going to happen, but it's also it's a very unique scenario because your job really doesn't exist without a human in your chair. There's nothing to sell online. I mean, you're not selling things online. You're not drop shipping or doing something that's has a middleman between you and the customer. It's you and touching the physical customer.
That's why I say it's so intimate.
Yeah, it's real.
Yeah.
So that's a good question though. That what's the most intimate place? I would just say on a human. I mean,
Yeah.
because it is intimate.
Yeah, the whole process.
Yeah. I mean, I've tattooed places. To answer that a little more spicy, to get a little spicy in the comments, I've tattooed people in places. So far as I can tell, it's only been women. Maybe the men maybe they just don't tell me. But I've tattooed women in places that they come back to get it touched up over and over, and then I find out from somebody else, they're like, "Yeah, she really liked getting tattooed right there." I'm like,
Yeah.
cool, get it spicy. So that's cool with me. So that's intimate, and it's usually not in a spot that you would think. It's like on the back of the neck or something like odd, just some sort of stimulating spot. So that's a reality that I'm willing to disclose. Now all these people are gonna be like, "Hey, I want a back of the neck tattoo." Like, what was that about? Any other questions, Bubba, that we're missing that we should get to? There we go. How about Chris Macias is asking a question. Does Num have a book of art he wants to do for people who like his work in general? Like, do you have a collection?
I used to. I got what I have now because I don't do it that often no more. I try to sit down, and then every time I do come up with something, someone snatches it right away, so I don't build it up no more.
Okay.
But in my career, I had like doodles.
Okay.
I call them. They're just little doodles, and then people who trust me and know what I'm doing, they can imagine that doodle
Yeah.
in finished form.
Okay.
And then they're like, "Oh yeah, let me
Yeah.
get that."
So you don't have like nobody's gonna go see a collection of work or like a on Instagram you can put now it's a highlight, so you can like instead of a story it's just right there
and
at the
just
front.
stuff I've drawn.
Yeah, I've seen
and
people do
wanted
that
tattoo.
before. I've never done that, but
Yeah.
I think it's a good idea if there's certain there's only a few now. There's only a couple because I've done all the things I've ever wanted to really get or to tattoo. I've already done all of them with the exception of one. And if you guys want to know what it is, you're going to have to ask. But other than that, I've done a lot of it. So now it's like trying to discover new things. So I don't really have like a collection either. I have nothing to pick from, really. Okay, so let's get to the next question that was actually on Facebook. I'm going to do my best to get to all of them, although it probably won't be possible. But we'll do our best. Again, guys, thanks for being on here and joining us. If you have questions, we're going to do our best to get to them. Also, Robert, if you see something on here that you want to address, feel free, or if you just want to say hi to somebody you may be recognizing their name. But we appreciate you guys being on here and joining us. This is pretty cool and a lot of fun. And I told you, it's been an hour already and 23 minutes, and it feels like it's been 20 minutes. To me, it feels like it's been 20 minutes. So the next question from Facebook, and we're going to go here. This is a really good one, and I have a feeling we're probably going to have some pretty different responses between the two of us. And actually, we're gonna join Samurai on this question too. So you're gonna answer this after we do. What's both of your thoughts on conventions? So it's all three of our thoughts, and we'll start with you, Robert. What's your thoughts on conventions?
The pros or cons? Because you know what I mean. They got
kinda,
both.
Like
They're both.
What do you absolutely love? Like what is like? Oh yeah, I'm going for that.
To see the artists I like.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah, to look, monkey see, monkey do. I'm over there looking at what they're doing, what there's going on. I'll watch them how they run that line, however they move their hand, whatever. Just that's what I like. And then it's really nice when they know who I am or they want to talk to me, because some guys don't. Some guys do want to talk to everybody who comes up.
Yeah.
And that's my favorite part is getting to know. I've got to come to know a lot of great artists. through conventions.
That's cool.
And that's pretty much the only thing I really like about conventions.
Okay.
I don't like tattooing there.
Yeah.
No, I hate tattooing at conventions.
Okay.
Conventions, I
Distractions.
feel like, too many.
Everything's
Too
a distraction.
many. And I want to go check it out like they're checking it out. You know what I mean?
Okay. So you want to be.
So I like to be in it because being in it, the artists see you. And then the artists get to know you as of going to it. Like I like to be in them, but conventions are not my thing.
Yeah.
But
you do them.
But I'll
you know necessity. You see the necessity of doing them.
Just the camaraderie, you can say, just being with the other guys that are
that's
doing
powerful.
what you're doing. Yeah, it's
because you can't get that
vibes and energies
while you're working in your shop. That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I dig that, and I totally get that too, because I think it's like, again, I stay fairly alienated. Like I pretty much have like a pretty simple schedule and what I do, and I don't really go too far out of it, to be honest with you. And maybe I hope that's a surprise to people. Like, this is the most boring guy who does this. He goes, this, and he's home and sleeping. I'm like, just keep repeating, rinse and repeat. But the convention thing, the few times that I've gone, especially when I wasn't really treating tattooing as like some sort of career or something professionally, I would go to conventions, man, and I'd see people's work. And the only time I get that same vibe or that same effect, that you go and see somebody's work and it's like, you couldn't get that in, like looking it up on Google. You just can't get that.
You're seeing it live.
Yeah.
It's like seeing a concert live.
It is exactly like that. When people come in our shop, and Samurai's seen a few of these people too, when they come into the shop, they'll bring their art. And they do the same thing. Some people want recognition. They just bring their art, and they're by themselves, probably in their dark corner of the room for the last 5 years, making this portfolio.
Yeah.
And you can tell that's what they were doing, because this shit is like, these people will bring stuff in, and it's like when they bring it in, I'm like, hey, everybody come, let's like look at this stuff. Do you mind if we show it? And the guy's like, oh yeah, go ahead. And that's it, man. So you're saying the same thing when you go to a convention, that moment of appreciating that art, even if it's not something that's your style.
Yeah, no,
I would never get it tattooed.
No, I love all styles, all art. Even when you go and you're looking at just the people in general too. You know what I mean? It's another way of how they get down. Their whole demeanor, the way they carry themselves. It's another way of like, oh shit, let me handle myself like that. Let me carry so you learn another aspect of being an artist, I guess, in this industry or whatever. You know,
I dig that. What do you hate the most? Or what is something that you just can't? Is it distractions? Kind of like what you're saying.
The distractions, not the travel, the packing, unpacking,
logistics.
Yes, that work that you have to do to get to work.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah, it's like camping.
Yeah, that's why I built a van, so that I don't have to set up you saw my big white van out there.
Yeah, just pull up. Yeah.
I don't set up no more. I don't even tear down.
So when I really liked doing conventions, I used to go do them with World of Pencils, and I didn't have to bring nothing but tattoo kits come like this now. You know what I mean? So I didn't have to bring nothing but my tattoo kit and me. And that's when I really liked doing conventions. But when I was doing them and I had to pack up all my stuff and go and do it, I was like, oh, no.
Production. It's
too much work. Yeah,
cool. I feel you. Yeah. The logistics part just becomes too
I just want a tattoo. I just want a tattoo. I want to hang out with these guys. I want these guys to notice me too. And you know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah, I get nothing out of I've technically only actually worked at one convention ever, and it was one I saw you at. 2019, I think, actually is what it was. The 2019 Fresno convention, and I hated every bit of it. It's just I can't. I had to put like tissue in my ears. I didn't bring any earplugs. I didn't think I'd need them. I had to put tissue in my ears and like turn my back to everybody, and I didn't like doing that, but I had to do. I couldn't function, man. I was too much. Like,
well, it's your first one. Because that's how I was until I got to doing them with the bigger guys. That's what I'm saying. I go and I look at them and I see how they're conducting themselves. So I try to mimic the conducting them. Yeah. So when I started going to do it, I didn't put myself in the corner no more.
Right.
I'm trying to open up a little bit. Check me out. Check me out too. Check me out too. You know what I mean? We have to have some type of ego. Not too much though, but we got to.
Okay.
In order for it to get noticed, to even grow, you have to have an ego. You know what I mean?
You gotta have a little bit of that. Like, look at what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I agree that I try to use social media to my best ability. I definitely don't think I'm by any means exceptional at it. I know people that are far more effective at it than I am. But I try to use it as a tool, right? It's a tool. It's there. Why wouldn't I use it? Even if I don't necessarily have a proclivity to use it, I just know it's the right thing to do. I love word of mouth, of course, but in terms of what you're saying about the convention thing, I could see that. That's really important. That's why I don't even discourage the people that I work with. Like I'm like, yeah, go, like be in public, go do this thing. Like,
and it's again, if you want to be that artist, if you want to, because you ain't gonna get noticed if you ain't good.
Yeah,
you ain't gonna get noticed if you ain't good. But if you want to go and you want to get in those circles, you can become good, and they will notice you. And
really,
you know what I mean. Then your personality might shine too, and then you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Still, and then you get to know somebody, and they make you better.
Yeah.
Even if it's for a brief moment. Like I said, stay a baby. You're gonna learn.
So I think that if there's any cheat code, I don't really like that word, but I don't know of a better phrase to use to describe it as, if there's any cheat code at all, it's get as close to the thing in which you want to become, as close as you can to it. If it's a video, it's a video. If it's a book, because the person's deceased, it's a book.
Yeah.
If it's art and the person, like I respect your work, so I follow it best I can. I actually do look at your work. I really don't go and surf the internet. I don't scroll, and if I do, I'm like, why did I do that? Like, why was I scrolling? It just caught me. I think that happens to all of us.
Yeah.
And then I find myself doing it for a few minutes. I'm like, I've never really found anything that I would have missed if I didn't see it, so I just stop. But I will actually go and intentionally look at your work time to time and see it and go, man, it's cool. So, but that same thing happens. I have quite a few people I look at that aren't just tattooers, work and in different things that I want to do in my life, that I look at that and I find that the closer you get to it, and there's nothing better than being in person. That in-person thing, like you said, a concert, music you didn't like, now you see the live show. Like,
it looks different. It sounds different, feels different. It's the vibes. It's what is it? It's like the energy in the room. You feed off of it. If there's a lot of that energy, you become that energy, and you know what I mean. It's like the little experiment where the guy's in the elevator, he looks the other way.
Yeah.
Then another guy does it. Yep. Then another guy does it. It's the energy. It's, you know what I mean. And then everybody picks up on it. Now that band's pretty good.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Samurai. So, well, my answer was simple. I don't like public. I try to avoid it at all cost. The first time I was in public, working as a shop owner, was in 2019 Fresno convention. After that, I was like, I already know I don't really like concerts. I don't like people. I don't like public. I don't enjoy that at all. I actually am the exact opposite. I really like just being by myself often. And Samurai is the opposite. Samurai is...
you want to do them?
I love people. I like to talk to people. I
think the GoPro's turned off, bud. Switch it. Yeah. You can hold the side button or just press it. It'll beep back on. Then you can switch to it. But you can keep talking, Samurai.
This last convention, I went and worked for Oliver Peck. And that was super cool because, so much people come up to him. They're like, dang, like, this is crazy. I can't believe you're here. One girl screamed because she seen him. I was like, I know this is kind of shameful, but I didn't even know who he was until my, dad was like, oh, shit, you're going to work for him? I was like, yeah. And, so it was super cool to see, how much people come around and, how much people knew him and how big he was. I was like, dang, I really hope one day, I could come to a convention and people can know me, they'll know my name, they'll get excited to see me, oh shit, that's Samurai, that's crazy. And then especially all the people I got to meet too, that it was fun to meet so much new people and to talk to new people. There was a whole bunch of new artists that were just upcoming just like me, and so I got all their ads, and they still message me till today. We follow up with each other, see how we each other are doing. It's really cool. I love conventions.
I can see it in your face.
She did the fun part. That's why.
Yeah, she did. Yeah.
Do the hard part where you're the one who has to get the booth. You're the one setting up the booth. You're the one that got to bring all the equipment and worry about. Oh, I'm here. I got all my stuff.
It sounds like that's something we're gonna have to do.
I do such a really girly, pretty, Japanese themed booth. I would do something like that. Okay. Something that would grab people's eyes.
Yeah. Okay.
And then the art to support
after you've done that, you're gonna think. You're gonna think again about doing how much you like conventions.
It'll have a second. You'll find another layer.
You're gonna have a second guess. You're like, man, maybe I don't like this. Maybe I like just being a part of it, not actually doing it. You know what I mean?
That's the thing is, being a spectator and being a player are two totally. Being in the field, being in the ring, and being in the stands is. I think it's really hard for people that haven't switched those roles to know that there's even a role to switch. Yeah. That, like the fighters, oh, why didn't he duck? Why didn't he bob and weave a little more? Why did he let him choke him out like that? Why did he tap? Man, that is so easy to say from the comfort of your chair. But then when you're in it, it's a whole different thing, man. There's all kinds of things involved you didn't know about. And I do think that that's good information in not a literal way, but in a experiential way, in a physical experience to have. There's a lot of real depth to that.
Because you didn't pay for your booth neither, right?
Nuh-uh.
Yeah, see, that's why I said I used to go.
Yeah.
I used to go with World of Pencils, and I didn't have to pay for nothing but to get there.
Yeah.
Bring my little case with my. It was fun. I didn't even have to tattoo if I didn't want to. I just wanted to mingle. I'm tattooing next to big names, and I'm like, big names are introducing themselves to me because I'm in this booth, and you're wearing olive, so you had a great experience. But if you were in a booth by yourself, guarantee it wouldn't have been the same.
Yeah, no.
Let's do that,
definitely
Samurai.
not. So much people would walk past me. I'm like, I'm here.
Yeah.
He's just sweating off. Not one more customer. You take them instead. Just move on. Yeah, it's a lot different when you're actually in the hot seat for sure. So I like that you brought that out because I don't think I would have like really caught because I try to avoid it. I do, and that's just the honest truth. And I probably should think more about it, especially because I have other people looking up to me, learning by me. I want to set a good example. So there's always things I need to learn too. That like what you're describing right now makes me, for the first time I've ever thought about it this way. It's not just like should I and could I. Like it's a necessity because there's that part of it you need to know, not just for a little bit of humility, also for a little bit of showing off that, like you said, that level of ego that you need. There's all kinds of rich information in that. You know,
it also humbles you too, because I've been to earlier in my career. I would go to the expos, especially when I was doing them myself, and I thought bigger of myself.
Right.
And then I get there and I put myself down and I leave that convention. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah. You got to reanalyze.
Reanalyze. But then I pick myself back up and I'm like, no, okay. Next time I go, I'm going to be better than last time.
Yeah, I dig it. That's cool. Right on. Let's get to the next question. And this is coming from Instagram, I believe. Well, actually, to be honest, I don't know. These are just questions that look the same. Let's go to being a tattoo artist. This is a good one, dude. This would be cool because we haven't touched on this yet. Being a tattoo artist in a relationship. Is it hard? Let's just say in a relationship, in a committed relationship, like married or whatever, just, you know.
Back in the day it was, but not for me. It's hard to say, and it's hard for people to believe. I'm really not that guy. I was always, I'm doing this and I'm not trying to get at you.
Right.
But if I see you somewhere, I might. And like I said, this is earlier in my career.
Trying to separate you two.
Yeah, separate. And
what made you want to do that? I mean, why did you? I'm assuming you were talking about before your relationship you're in now, right? Like before that.
Even before that too. It's a lot of people don't believe it, but I really, I don't really like. I never really did. Never was. How do I say? I wasn't a horn dog.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
You weren't trying to prey on the rock star.
Yes,
sort of
the rock
persona.
star. Because I was really about the art. It always was about the art. I never really was.
I think anybody listening to you right now or that knows you probably could tell that that's true.
Yeah. Even now, so much so now, I got a buddy who's like, he would come and hang out with the shop, and he would like, you ain't in it. I am.
Yeah.
So he'd get all the action.
Yeah.
You know
Okay.
what I mean?
Okay.
Like, and I shine them, man. And then me, I'm a lot of people. I used to be really big, so it was hard for somebody to.
Really big? You mean?
I was 300 something pounds.
Oh, you were physically really big.
Really big, yeah.
I was like, you're really big, like popular, dude. You're still big.
So no one really paid attention. No one is for someone to pay attention to me.
Okay.
It took a lot for me to make it happen to pay attention.
Okay.
So as I got older and I understood this, and I'm not that big boy no more. I looked at girls a lot differently. So it wasn't hard to keep the relationship that I had. And I always had one relationship almost through my whole career. Now I'm in my second one for the second half of my. That's easy, really easy.
Okay. What would be a big challenge? What would be one of the challenges, like with being a tattoo artist in the relationship? Because I think that's kind of what she's wanting to know. Is like, is there barriers? Is there things that are like to become
it's always being there, having to be at the shop. Yeah. So my previous relationship, it was difficult to be a tattoo artist. The one person I'm with now, she's in the same industry as me, so
and I might
We
add
know,
too.
we know.
She's
she knows what everything months.
yeah, she's. I have to say it because, dude, she's not only really good. I know that because everybody I've ever recommended to her loves it. They always thank me for it. They'll come back and actually thank me, which is really unusual.
Yeah.
They'll usually just thank her or somebody, whoever you got
She's
recommended to.
special.
Dude, I've never met her in my whole life, but I know enough about her to know that she's making the dent in the universe in herself.
Oh, she's something special. She's different. She's created her own little wave, her own little industry in the town. No one's doing what she's doing.
Yeah. Do you think that helps?
Her and me, yeah, because she knows what comes with it.
Okay.
And she believes the things I say.
What do you think would happen if she was an account, or if she was a receptionist at like a construction
Wasn't
company?
in the industry. That'd be probably a little bit more difficult for
She's
her.
home by 2:30. She's picking up the kids from school.
She'll probably be it'll be a little more difficult because she don't know. But again, it's the person, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The person I am, and she
I agree.
understands the person I am. I'm, like I said, I'm not a horn dog. I keep myself away from temptation too.
Okay.
It's a big factor too.
I
You
dig that.
can't put yourself in compromising situations. No
Smart.
type of situation. You know what I mean?
I heard, I'm going to use the word, oh, you know what? I wish I need a beep button myself so that I can beep myself, but I'll say the P word. I won't say the word, but I'll say it that way. Is this guy told me once, he goes, never go toe to toe with P, with the B word. He's like, never go toe to toe, man. You're going to lose every time. And I, as a tattoo artist, I'll full disclosure, 40 years old, which is, something to say about the fact that when we started, it was way different than it is now. Like, there was no social media. There was no way to, like, so what I'm saying is, when you were a tattoo artist in 2000, 2004, 2005, you were a rock star. You were as close to a rock star without playing an instrument as possible. People would say that all the time. You go out to a bar, every single one of my guy friends would be like, oh, he's a tattoo artist to any of the girls. I'm like, well, dude, I was just trying to have a drink, man. Like, leave me alone. And it was real. Like, it's not, well, I'm also 40, so
You
maybe
don't
it's
even got to be
old.
good.
Dude, you don't have to, they could have lied. They could have lied and just been like, that guy's a tattoo artist. And that was way different. Well, at least I was younger, so I don't know if it's because I'm older now, it seems different, but because of social media, not a lot of people everybody knows a tattoo artist now.
Yeah.
So it's not as special. It's seeming to me that people don't see it as rock star-ish as it used to be. And it used to be like a real deal, man. Like, you were a tattoo artist and people were just like, what? Like, let's do this. Like, oh my God. And I had the same sort of, the words I told myself is, I didn't want to disrespect what I like, my art. Because, I mean, man, I'll just say it, that I've had people, like the lady was asking about, have you ever tattooed somebody in an intimate place? It's not even necessarily that. It's the people try to get intimate with you. Like, legit, it's not an uncommon thing. Like, you were even saying, back in the day, it was a totally different type of crew. Anybody old enough to remember that knows that, things have changed. The industry's changed. The sort of clientele and even the artists themselves specifically have changed. And that was something I tried to avoid at all costs. Especially I was young, single, I had no kids. I was like trying to do the party thing too, to fit in, but I never really enjoyed it. It wasn't for me, and nobody believes me. It was like, oh, I bet you got this and that. I'm like, I'm not saying I'm an angel, but what I'm saying, and I was young and stupid, but what I'm saying is that I respected my art. Even to this day, people will say, oh, I had a girl the other day just ask me for one of my paintings. Oh, you should give me that. I'm like, I respect it a lot. I respect what I'm able to do, and I respect that, and our transactions can probably be money, most likely.
Yeah, I always looked at it as I rather talk to your wallet than talk to you.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Some people might hear that wrong, but I think I know exactly
but
what
you
you
understand what I'm saying? We can
100%.
be friends. We can talk, conversate, but I rather take what you got in your wallet than what you want trying to get.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly, because I don't think they care about us anyway. They just want they care about the thing for free.
Yeah, a lot.
It's like,
I don't tattoo on a lot of girls now. Before, but now my customers pretty much males.
Yeah.
The females I do tattoo on, most likely that I tattoo on their old man or somebody.
So in terms of relationships, it sounds like you got a really good balance, like a really good balance.
It took me a long time to figure it out too.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I definitely will admit that people never believe me when I say those things. That I hope that the example I give to the girls learning from me at my shop, even that something I like to be able to display to them, is regardless of what kind of attention I'm getting for whatever reason, whether it's because my work's good or because somebody's interested in you in a personal way, or because they're just acting interested because they want your work cheaper or something. I respect that. I keep it at, away from me, and I try to keep it a professional environment. I expect everybody in my shop, especially, to do that same thing because man, it's not about you in this minute. It's about something greater that you're doing. Like I was saying earlier about going back to the fact that this is like primitive roots to like in an ancient way. Like you're partaking in something sacred, right? And that's how I see it. You're giving. You said it earlier. You're giving a piece of you. Like you're pouring. I respect that deep enough to not cross those boundaries. But did it cause relationship? If I'm going to be honest, did it cause relationship issues? Absolutely. Being surrounded by girls, having girls throw themselves, oh, hey, I want this covered up. And then they send you a nude. Like I probably shouldn't be saying this because now my clientele, this is truthfully like years ago. I'm going to say like when Instagram first started kind of getting popular, and I think that kind of power in people's hands, I don't think they really knew like, hey, this is on the internet now. Like you probably shouldn't do this. But I can see that causing a lot of problems. But I do think that truly it's about the people because of who you're with and who you are as a character. I can see how other people might look at it and go, I bet that's so hard for you to see your man surrounded by all these girls. Not if you're holding it down, right?
Yeah.
So it shouldn't be an issue at all.
She has confidence in me. I have confidence in her.
That's cool. And I think the industry's changed enough too that people can respect it in a different way. It doesn't have to be that rock star status. I don't even know if that exists anymore. I think I'm just old.
Some of these guys are rock stars out there. I see them. I see him. I gotta give it up to him. Have fun. Do your thing.
Yeah. I just kind of wonder like what part of it is because I was young, and a tattooer. Now I'm just old. I'm the guy who's hanging on to like seeing other people's art and going, man, I gotta keep it up because they look how good they're doing. I gotta like try harder now. Where before I felt like I was kind of like in that wave of like everybody's like, dude, these guys are killing it. Now I feel like these younger kids, especially, or even just people trying really harder, man, they got so much potential. They have so much potential. There's a lot of talent here, man. A lot.
There you never used to be, though.
Nobody says anything positive about this town at all that I've ever heard in my life. Even if it's somebody who doesn't know about this town, they stopped here once. They never have anything good to say about it.
Everybody who's from here don't say nothing good.
Yeah. But, man, when you really look at the talent, though, the actual talent, and I don't know about, it's just specifically talking about tattooers, not any industry. There's incredible talent, like just locally. Insane. So it's actually really cool to be from the same area as somebody like you or somebody like, I look up to Greg Sumi a lot. There's quite a few other artists in here that like have big names that it's like, wow, dude, little old Fresno nobody likes. Look at this place. It's fucking cool. I think that's really, really cool. I know I'm not going to get to all the questions. Bubba, have you seen any two that we should definitely get to? Okay, so this is Angel saying Rob dopest tattoo artist in the West Coast, in my opinion. Crazy to find out you purchased my Grinch painting and up in a shop.
Oh yeah, it's hung up in my shop with the Christmas hat.
Legit.
It was a fundraiser event, I think it was, and I purchased it. They were all Christmas tree cutouts of a wood, and I can't remember what was on the bottom of the Christmas tree, but it was a cutout of a tree, and they painted the Grinch on it.
That's cool.
It's pretty dope.
That's really cool. If I were to ask you if there's like artists or art or any medium or anything that influences you a lot, like if you could say this thing clearly was like what really got me to be the artist that I am today, the creative person I am today, what stands out to you? There's probably a lot.
Yeah, it just changes all the time. There's certain things like I see. The best thing about Instagram is seeing these things, and it can be just little doodles and how they make something happen. I'm like, fuck. Just anything does really. It's crazy. I don't know. Sometimes it's the simplest little thing that'll make me like, damn. Just how they did it. It's not even that great of what I'm looking at, but just the process of what they did is like, damn it.
Yeah, and it can be in the smallest things too.
The smallest things.
Yeah, I'm like that. I just one of my artists in the shop, Midna, she just did. I don't remember the movie. It's like some Halloween movie. Trick or Treat, I think is what it's called. And it's this little kid with like a knapsack over his head and a jumpsuit sitting on a pumpkin. And that was what I was referencing earlier. It's like I looked at it and I'm like, she goes, "Oh, you taught me." I'm like, "How'd you do that?" So, "Well, you taught me." And I'm like, I might have helped you, but I did not teach you how to do that because I don't even know how you did that. I have no clue. I don't get it because it's different than me. And what she did, I can in my head, I'm almost trying to rearrange it and change it, even when I'm looking at it. But then I step back and look, and I'm like, yeah, but that looks really good, like really cool. That's what I dig.
Yeah,
I can see
it's
that.
like there's more than one way to skin a cat.
Yeah.
But you still use a
Sorry,
knife.
cat lovers. Sorry again, cat lover animals.
I hate cats.
Yeah, I do too. I actually do too. So I'm glad we're on that same page. He doesn't like to tattoo cats, and he is okay with skinning them multiple ways. So we're good. Hopefully nobody edits that in a negative way. We don't harm animals, just in case anybody wants to know. That's interesting. I dig that. So a couple of other questions I have as just, again, a person who's respects your work greatly. What would you say to somebody who is like, man, I want to learn to tattoo. I walked into your shop. I heard about you. I've been following you. I want to learn. I don't know where to start. I have zero guidance. Maybe I grew up in a single parent home and, I've kind of fucked up a little. I have no skills. I'm super young, but I'm really eager to learn. They're telling you all the right things, or they're displaying to you maybe they're not saying it, but you can see it in them. What would you say to somebody like that that's like wanting to not dabble? You can tell they're serious, but what kind of advice would you give them if they're trying? And maybe obviously they can't all come to you and ask you, but they're somewhere in the world trying to figure this out. And what kind of response would you have to them? Like what kind of advice would you give them?
Damn, just do it. You just got to don't let no one, if you really want it, even if I told you no, go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Just keep going. Don't let no one tell you no.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep going. And if the opportunity, if a door opens, walk through that motherfucker. But not everybody's going to open the door.
Right.
But if you come through and just keep going. Because like I said, I always open the door. But I don't literally tell them. Yeah. I want them to figure it out. Because they got to have the drive. So if
you're coaching them, they're just trying to peacock with you and do the right thing. But if
I'm more like a Mr. Miyagi type. I'm going to make you go paint the fence. You know what I mean? It's like I'm going to tell you something, and if you don't understand what I'm trying to tell you, then you're the one. I can't make you do it. Yeah. You got to do it. True. No matter what.
Very much.
You do it.
What would be like the process then? Like, what do you think somebody young trying to learn or interested in this industry and they're hell-bent and they can't get anybody to show them anything and they revert to the internet, which is no small thing. Uh-huh. Right? Actually, I would say something of a good friend of mine, an acquaintance of mine, I should say. I'd like to call him a good friend because he's a badass dude, but somebody I know, and he told me once, he goes, when I first started playing guitar, I didn't know what a G chord was. I had to learn. But now I'm playing with like big name people. Mm-hmm. Like I'm literally like some of the most famous guitarists in the world. And he goes, they told me the same thing. They had to learn a G chord. And I'm like, that dawned on me. I'm like, everybody had to learn the same things. So what is it that sets that apart? Like, what is it about somebody? And I know we kind of touched on it a little bit already, but what is it about it? Say younger person, because I think it's usually younger people. I think if somebody's trying to start this at 30, 40, they got kids, they got a family, you got bills to pay, it's going to be really difficult. You're 35, 40 years old.
Yeah, if you're trying to do it if you're older and you're trying to make it happen right now, you should have a lot of time on your hands.
Yeah.
If you have a lot of time on your hands and no one needs you and you're okay and you have that time to spend, because you ain't going to start out great.
Yeah, and it's going to take a long time.
Yes, it takes a long time.
It's probably going to be a very rare person to be,
But if that person... Because that's what's crazy about the industry now is because there's these people who've been artists for years. And then they'll pick up the machine and tattoo in 3 years and they're amazing.
Right. And
it's just learning the tool. It's they figured out, oh, shit, I can sell my art this way. Yeah. You know what I mean? So if you really want a tattoo and you want to be somebody who stands out and not just a tattooer, you really got to focus on that art. You really got to... And it don't have to be a great portrait artist. I'm not saying that. Your art, how you want to portray it, how you want it to look, and you got to perfect your look. It don't have to be black and gray realism. It don't even have to be no type of nothing.
Okay.
Because there's guys out there doing paint splashes on bodies, but people love it and enjoy it.
Yeah.
So you just got to fucking find your art, find what you're gonna do, and then learn the tool. So I've always tell people this too. It's you want to get better at one medium, practice other mediums, and then you'll pick up stuff on that medium, and then when the medium you're really good at is going to get better without you even knowing, because you learned some information
New.
over here, and you can apply it to what
It's
you
leveling it
already
up,
know.
stacking it. Stacking it over
I
and
don't,
over.
because when I paint, draw, whatever, I don't choose just one thing. I like to mix mediums. I like to play with new stuff. Right now, I'm in the middle of working on 2 pieces and using wood stain to stain on woods to paint through an airbrush gun.
Okay.
So, just playing with stuff and creating, trying to make a new look, trying to do something fresh, something that you ain't seen. I'm like, it's like I said mimicking, but I'm not gonna do what you did. I like what you did, but I'm gonna. I think, like how you said you wanted to rearrange her, but you would rearrange it how you wanted to make it yours. But yours is gonna be just as good as hers, maybe. You don't understand what I'm saying? You guys are just good, but they're different.
It's always going to be a personal touch.
Yeah.
I would actually like to say that that's one of my probably second favorite things, if not definitely in tandem with my favorite thing about the industry is the ancient practice. Something about it's very spiritual to me.
Yeah.
I feel like it's tapping into just something. It's hard to explain, but it's so deep. And the first time, and I've heard this from other artists too that say the same thing, the first time they tattooed or the first time they, messed around on fake skin or held a machine or made something with that machine, they're like, something hit like an epiphany moment. And I would say that it's because I think you're tapping into something. I call it what you want, but I think you're tapping into something ancient. I think there's something in us that has this desire to express and make it permanent and have this ability to make this impact in the world in a way that's significant, wanted, desired, but also a way for you to express yourself. That's been the thing. But the other thing is that it's handmade and personal. Like what else? Like I like to tell my clients, like, and it sounds like you're for sure with the way you describe you giving a piece of yourself away like this, that try to enhance, with arm's reach, or look around your room. What's handmade? What do you have that's like, well, it's gonna.
You know how they say you can't take it to the grave with you.
Yeah.
Well, what can you take to the grave with you?
True.
Your tattoos.
Man. Okay, that's cool, man. Wow, you got me with that one. I dig that because I've experienced that many a times. I've experienced that, and I remember sitting. As this gets personal, so I won't say names, but I was sitting on a homie's grave, and I
got
remember
a couple of those.
And I remember sitting there, and I was like, man, I won't let my life go to waste, man. Like I promise, I'm gonna do my best. Like your kids, your family, everybody's sad, everybody's hurting. I miss you, but like I'm not falling apart. But I know your family is, and I know one day this is gonna be me and my family, possibly. So I'm like, I'm humbled because I see the pain they're going through. I'm not going through it right now, but I'm not gonna miss this lesson that I'm watching. I remember sitting there, and there was this weird moment of like, man, like connecting with the fact that he's 6 feet under, but I'm in there with him. And I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa, dude. Like I got to leave that graveyard and he didn't, but a piece of me was still there. I was like, that was a transformative, I'll never forget that moment.
That's beautiful. I've never even thought about that.
It's the older you get.
I got a couple of clients that passed away not too long ago that I got pieces. I've been working on them for years. We were in the middle of pieces and they passed. And I was like, fuck, I gotta get to finish that. And then I can think about all their tattoos. And then they're sitting there still with them on.
Yeah.
Because that's ain't that the last thing, almost the last thing that you to go is your skin, right?
Yeah. That's intense, man. I think Mike said something earlier about, or maybe on the comments, he likes to be here and in the comments. He likes to be everywhere. He likes to make an impact. Maybe there's a little bit of that ego. He's just a little bit of it, sprinkling it out there. Yeah, to be able to keep it, to keep the tattoos and pass it down. But what you're saying, that, like I said, it taps into something deep in my experience, and you've had this. I'm sure a lot of people tattooing have had this, but especially the older you get, the more you tattoo, the more people that you touch and that you get connected with.
Yeah.
In a deep way, it's gonna happen.
I got
real.
Generations. Like I tattoo on the mom,
okay,
the dad. Now, I mean the son, the dad, and then it goes down. The son had a kid. They're coming next.
I remember when my friend's kids were like 6, 7 years old, and he's like, "You gonna tattoo my son when he gets 18?" I'm like, "Yeah, man." But I thought, like how kids think, you're never gonna get there. Like it's like that's so far away. It's actually never gonna happen. Like you're never gonna be that old. And then I started tattooing my friend's kids, and I'm like, bro, now I'm starting to think eventually I'm gonna be tattooing my friend's kids' kids.
Yeah.
Like, dang, man, I'm gonna have to find a way out of this because I don't know if I want to do that. So that I saw a question that came up earlier. What happened? Oh, somebody said something. Oh, I missed it. Sorry. But I was gonna ask you, what's your way out of this, or what's your end goal? Somebody asked this on here, but I'm kind of paraphrasing because I don't remember exactly how they worded it. But they basically asked, where are you going now? Like, what are you going to do? What's your plan, or what would you like to do?
After tattooing, I really want to cook. It's again another satisfaction I'm giving to people. I like to cook, and seeing people eat the food and how fucking they look and they feel, and it's like, damn. And what's the greatest thing to feed somebody, right?
Wow. Okay.
Right? You care about somebody when you feed them. You care about their life. You're feeding them. You're giving them life.
That's deep.
So I really like. It's just the enjoyment. Like, I cook all the time, and I wait for everybody to eat, and I'm like, it's good. It's good.
Yeah.
Before I sit down and eat.
Okay.
And then sometimes I know, man, that didn't come out too good, and everybody's telling me it's good. I'm in my head like, you lying, motherfucker. This shit didn't come out too good today.
Interesting. Wow. I did not expect you to say that at all.
But yeah,
that's cool.
My goal, I really do want to cook.
Okay.
But not like restaurant or chef like that. But something.
Okay. Interesting. So,
but I'm hoping to where it's like I made it well off to where I'm not stressing on I have to pay my bills and all that, and I can do that.
Yeah,
you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then I can make a little bit of change, but not like I'm used to in tattooing, because tattooing does really good now, especially nowadays.
Yeah, it's kind of, I hate to say it, but if you've gotten decent or good at it, it's a pretty for sure thing. I mean, you're gonna make
making
money.
a lot of money.
Yeah, you're gonna make money.
Yeah, 60 plus.
It's yeah, easy, and that you could do that first year, you know. And it's if you got a good mentor, if you're doing it right, if you're really trying hard and you're putting your dues in, and you got it going on, then and especially if you're exceptionally talented, because some people do just get it really quickly, man. Like, I've seen it, and I'm like, God, I hate to say it, but it kind of makes me a little bit like, I didn't have that, and I'm just like, man, you are going to be light years ahead of me. And it is nice that even with my own apprentices, time to time, we'll say, yeah, but Josh, we have a you. You didn't have a you. And that is true. That is true. Mm-hmm. I didn't have that. I tried and it didn't work. And, it wasn't as available back then either to do it on your own. The information wasn't there. And I tried to do it the quote unquote, right way, the best way, which is get to someone who's a master at it, or somebody's great at it, or somebody's at least good enough. They have something more than I know.
Yeah.
I tried it that route. Didn't work out for me. I feel like, I'm going to tie it around to what you said about food and feeding people, because I think I'm kind of the same way. Probably one of the reasons why I feel like I understand a lot of things you're saying. You're just using totally different, like, I kind of feel like in a lot of ways I'm hearing myself speak in a sense that, but you're saying it from a totally different life perspective, in a totally different like place, but you're saying kind of the same things. And when I was first tattooing, I was like, oh, it's not about money, it's not about art, it's not about, I don't know why it is I want to do this. Like, I don't really care to be famous or fortune, or none of that mattered. I was just following something that was clear to me, that was not begging me, but luring me in. It was just something that was calling me. Like, I didn't choose the game, the game chose me. Like,
pretty much, yeah.
I wasn't like set out to say, I actually told everybody I don't ever want this to be a profession. And then eventually it got to the point where I had to quit my day job. Like, this is kind of ridiculous. Why would I make more money in 2 hours than I will all day busting my ass at work, breaking my back, sunburnt and tired, never see my family or kids. If I'm not gonna be home till 7 or 8 anyway, just go do this. So I stuck with it. But what you were saying about feeding people, like, if that would be your route, I maybe it's kind of similar, that my out is going to be storytelling and sharing, because I think it's the same thing. It's a spiritual. What you're talking about with food is spiritual. It's a very spiritual thing to feed somebody. It's literal. It's real, and you impact people and you're nourishing them. It's a real thing. I think of the same thing with like information stories, and like even you sharing this stuff, dude. What half the shit you said, most of the things you said tonight, were things I feel, but I think said better than I could say it. And it's really cool. It's refreshing, especially an artist that's to the caliber that you are and the person that you are, that speaks for itself. It's really refreshing. It's really cool to see. I actually get really excited that people, like even my family, my friends, apprentice gets to see that, gets to experience it. Like you said, that energy in the room is totally different than seeing it through the internet or seeing it through a filter. I really appreciate that, and I'm thankful for it. So is there anything we're missing, Bob, on the live stream that, guys, I told you we weren't going to get as communicative into the live stream as usual, because I knew we'd get deep in the conversation, and it's been a lot of fun. But was there anything that we didn't touch on that maybe we need to bring up?
Probably Angel for this one.
Okay. So Angel saying, what machine would y'all recommend out right now for a beginner to buy and try out? That's a loaded question.
My preference, I've always said it, Bishop rotaries. Good. Best brand for rookies.
and they're not that. Some of them are
Yes.
pretty introductory prices.
Yes.
So
They're
it's
really
you're
good.
not like spending
Well,
thousands.
yeah, that's what you're gonna. If you want to spend some money on a machine, yes, get you a Bishop.
Yeah.
Bishops, they got their machines for a beginner, and you're not knowing too much about it. Get that machine; it'll get you going.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you find yourself, try some other machines. You never know. You might be able to pull a line better with a different machine.
True, man.
You know what I mean?
I try to recommend something to someone, and they're like, "No, I don't like it." I'm like, "I'm telling you, it works for me."
Yeah.
They do something else, and they do it better. I'm like,
Yeah.
"Okay, well, I thought I knew what I was talking about." Well, it works for me. I'm
Yeah,
telling you what works for me, but it maybe isn't what works for you. That's legitimate. The Bishop's definitely a good brand. We got a few of those in the shop too. So, okay,
My dinosaur ribs. Yeah, that's my buddy right there.
okay.
Yeah.
Jess is saying, "Tell us about your dinosaur ribs." So tell us about your dinosaur ribs.
The beef short ribs, so they're just beef ribs, but they got the big old slab of meat on them. They look like Fred Flintstone, Flintstone
cool.
owners. Yeah, that's what I call dino
Okay.
ribs.
Now I know why you don't do walk-ins. That you only do one person a day because you're cooking for them too, huh? You're like, I can't cook for everybody. 5 appointments a day, 5 people, no way. That's cool, man. This would be a cool tattoo shop. Get some dinosaur ribs and some tattoos at Black Ink. So, Robert, I think we got to a lot of the questions. We have to do this again. There's a lot of people on here. There's a lot of stuff that we aren't going to be obviously able to address in a short amount of time, and I can already tell you do have a lot to give. I do respect that it is a give, right? It is you're giving us your time right now. You're giving us your wisdom, your experiences. You're giving a part of yourself here, and I appreciate that truly. And I know people watching guaranteed are thinking the same thing. I'm going to get messages about it later for sure. We'll have conversations about it afterwards, even with my apprentices and people I work with, and make it memorable. And so to do this again would be an honor for me. It'd be really cool.
I'm down. Thank you for showing me. At first I was kind of like, nah, because it's out of my box, out of my comfort zone to do stuff like this. But I talked to myself and told, like, with my art, I step out of the box all the time. I'm really trying to work on my person, my character. So I need to step out my character box.
I think you've
you know
gotten
what I mean?
that part locked down, in my opinion. Maybe just sharing it is new, and because there's an ego part to sharing that I don't enjoy. I'm not here to share because I want to be on camera. I don't. I'm not. Again, hard for people to believe. They're like, oh, really, Mr. Attention Whore? Dude, if it had it my way, I'd be in the mountains by myself, man.
Yeah.
Like, leave me to say, what would you do if you could do anything right now? Yeah, it probably doesn't, unless it's with my kids. It probably involves me in the mountains by myself.
Yeah, I love sitting on the couch with my girl smoking.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, I'm
my
not-
favorite thing to
Yeah,
do.
exactly. But this
So-
kind of stuff, I do look at it as nourishment, like you were saying with food, talking about with information and wisdom, just experiences, just real life experiences. Seeing an artist, again, to your caliber, and again, I've mentioned other artists too that I respect also greatly because of the character they are as a person. To see both of those is really, really relieving. It's really cool. I think it's refreshing for people to see. I think it's a bit of, I'm sure for some people it is a shock, because I've even got that people look at me and they think, I thought you were going to be this way.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
And then they say, but you're not like that at all. And I think that's really cool. I think that's really cool.
I think a lot of people think I got a big old ego and I put myself up and high. And I was like, no, but I'm trying to get there though.
Yeah. Okay, let's work on that.
You know what I'm saying? I'm still trying to get there.
Okay, I dig that. Samurai, you got anything to add or any questions you want before we jump off here and sign out for the day?
No.
Nothing?
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it was absolutely a pleasure. It's always a pleasure to have Samurai around. Evan, as a cameraman, thank you so much for being a switcher, audio engineer.
Of course.
Yeah, learning the tools and saying hi to everybody, not being too shy. For the guests in the audience, it's the first time I've had an audience. This is actually a first time for a lot of things.
Oh yeah.
So it's really, really cool. And I would like to do it again. Again, Robert, I'm going to say thank you truly that as, just as a man to another man, like I appreciate your time here and, you sharing with us. It's really meaningful. I think we went pretty deep, pretty far, pretty quick and pretty easily. So I look forward to it again. I hope everybody else enjoyed it. And I appreciate everybody being on here and being part of it. I know we skipped a lot of people live, but I think they understand. Maybe one day what we'll do, it'd be really cool, is just to do a live where we're just literally interacting with the audience. It'd be a lot of audience interaction. I know you said you had not done something like this necessarily before, but I think I can tell, bro, like this is, you belong in a place like this, truly, because it's a gift.
It's hard for me to get on my Instagram and do something. I'm always typing it.
I'm gonna help you because we build this set for a reason, man, so we can nourish people's souls. So that's what we're doing. So that was Artistic Freedom, episode 50. Yep, we got Robert Miranda. He's at Black Ink. Tell them how they can get a hold of you, and if they want an appointment with you, or if they just want to reach out, where do they find you?
Instagram's the best way. The No City Don.
Okay.
That's my Instagram. Preferably person to person contact's always best.
Okay.
And the way I book is at the end of every month, I book for the following month, and I only book a month's worth of work. And I only have a few spots because the people I'm working on get priority. So if I'm working on you this month and you want an appointment for next month, I give it to you right then and there. So if there's open spots, you can hit me, contact me at the end of the month, then I can fit you in. But always, in person is a lot better.
Very
then
cool.
I know you're serious.
Legit.
If you're going to take the time to come see me, I'm going to take the time to talk to you. Because I don't charge for consultation, none of that. I rarely take a deposit. The deposit is usually when I'm iffy about the person. It's like, let me take deposit just in case.
So you guys
they don't
know
show.
if he says $500. Sometimes I tell people deposits just to see if they're even serious, and if they're like, "Oh yeah, no problem," like, well, let's just schedule a couple more. Like I'll say, just kind of you can get a lot of information by throwing that out there and seeing how somebody reacts to it. They're like, "Oh well, let me get back to you." It's like maybe you weren't that serious.
Yeah, if they're right on it, then I'm like, okay, they're serious. You can have some of my time. Then.
Okay,
Yeah.
so now people know how to find you on Instagram. Again, thank you for being here. This was awesome. Thank you everybody for joining and all your help. Everybody for being on here the live, and we'll get back to you guys again with another episode. This was 50 of Artistic Freedom. We did some Q&A, did some conversation, met some new people, did a bunch of firsts for today.
Yeah.
And I think I actually don't think that episode 50. To me, the episode 50 just seems like a monumental thing. It's halfway to 100, and when I get to 100, I just feel like that sounds so far away, but I'll get there and then it'll feel like nothing. But this is pretty special, so I appreciate you being here, and thank you. And thank you guys. And we will see you for episode 51 next time. Have a good night. Enjoy. Thank you. And goodbye.
Bye.
All right.
See you, everybody.
Peace.
Out.
We out.
Later.